common sense. And I actually think, I'm going to get real political, but I actually think this midterm election is really, I said this in an interview the other day. You could summarize it in two sentences. They're crazy, we're not. Right? Because this policy is crazy. It is crazy versus common sense, as the president said. This is the most common sense thing. Just work. Let the sheriff work with you. If he wants to work with you in California, let him do it. Not be maybe violating the law for doing the common sense thing, for goodness sake. So I wanted to again thank you all for coming. Would the gentleman yield? I will yield it 4 seconds to the right.
I want to say I agree with you.
Well, God bless you.
It's crazy. One doesn't.
You figured it out on your way out the door, Mr. Nasser. That is great to know.
The only question is which way.
All right, I yield back. And I want to do this again, if I could, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank the chairman of this subcommittee. He is the sponsor of the bill that fixes it. He has been working on.
Okay, let me know if the audio's working. I got the live got taken down for some reason. I had my device froze. Let me know if you guys can hear me again, and we'll start. Let me turn off the house hearing I'm listening to in the background. Let me know if you can hear me, and we'll go ahead and fire away if we can. We had a glitch in the system momentarily, but let me know if you guys can hear me on YouTube, and then I'll get all the platforms going pretty quickly if I can get an audio check. So somebody on YouTube, let me know if you can hear me, and that should do it. So I'm waiting to see if anybody responds on YouTube, and I'll fire away with the program. So let me know. Wait until somebody says something. I'm not getting anything on YouTube just yet, but I'm waiting to fire away. We got 5 people in there, and the number will build up. But if you're listening to me on YouTube, let me know if you got any audio. So, in fact, what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and fire up the other one because nobody's saying they can't hear me. So I assume that probably means the audio is getting through. So bear with me. We should be okay. Yeah, you can hear me. Thank you. Who said that? D. Okay, so everybody says the audio is good. All right, what up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. We're going to be starting out on all platforms as always: Instagram, Substack, TikTok, Clapper, and YouTube. Now, I'm assuming all of you guys are aware that the Supreme Court has handed down some rulings this week, and of course today has been a couple big ones. The first one being they handed down a ruling that prevents, well, I won't say it prevents anything. It allows the states to ban transgender athletes. So the ruling they handed down allows the states to prevent transgender athletes from playing in sports. Now, what you normally hear is we don't want biological males playing against girls in sports. Fair enough. But if you're a biological girl and you transition into a boy, it would apply as well. We just don't really attack the biological girls. We normally only go out to the boys, and this has always been the way it is. This is how it is in the gay community as well. Gay men have always gotten it worse than lesbians, and that's what's going on in the transgender world as well. But that is what has happened, is that the Supreme Court has handed down a ruling so that transgender athletes are not allowed to play in sports. But if you want to sum it up, like I said, biological males cannot play against girls in sports. That's the first ruling. Now, the second ruling, in my opinion, is significantly more important and significantly bigger because of the chaos the chaos that I believe would have entailed had the ruling went the other way. But before I get into that, Handsome Conservative says, ladies and gentlemen, my name is the Handsome Conservative, and I am honored to introduce to you a man of the hour, the man with unwavering faith in his party. Put your hands together for the handsome liberal. Damn right. Appreciate the intro, but I will disagree with one point. I do not have unwavering faith in the Democrat Party. I don't have unwavering faith in the Republican Party. I don't even have unwavering faith in independence. I think everyone can go astray if the motivation and incentives are great enough. But otherwise, I absolutely appreciate the support. Handsome conservative, you always shine. I certainly, I'll go ahead and heart that for sure. Thank you very much. So looking in the comments, and I see somebody, who is that, says, Derek says, Tim, you're still fluffing. You're a damn raccoon. Well, let's see if we can avoid some of the cooning today. I appreciate your input, Derek. So the second ruling, in addition to the prevention of biological males from playing in girls' sports, which would be a win for President Trump. That's something that the Trump administration, something that the conservatives, certainly something that MAGA has been speaking out against ever since, Trump got elected. But the second ruling regarding birthright citizenship. Birthright citizenship is one where, going all the way back to the 1800s, after the end of slavery, and this is just fucking cruel to even think this, but after slavery ended, there was a large contingent of Americans that did not want to let the freed slaves be citizens of this country. So I suppose once the African Americans fought to gain freedom from slavery, they wanted to then just kick them out of the country. Kind of like, well, if you don't want to work for free, get the fuck out mindset. That's kind of what was going on. So we had to have an amendment put in place that allowed African Americans to be citizens. And this is where birthright citizenship came up. You know, the crazy thing is, we talk about a host of different topics on this program, and I enjoy all you folks being here, including my beloved MAGA. But one of the biggest pushbacks is often, why does everything got to be about race? Why do you liberals got to make every damn thing about race? Here we are in the middle of 2026. We're talking about birthright citizenship. And the fact is, it originated on race. If you're going to discuss birthright citizenship and why we have it and what it means, I mean, even Clarence Thomas, of all people, he brought up that this was originally meant for former slaves. So this is what we talk about. Everybody, well, I didn't have nothing to do with slavery. You're not a slave. I didn't own any slaves. Why are we still talking about that? Because it still applies to what's going on today. Here is a ruling today that has deep ties to slavery. In fact, had it not been for slavery, this may not exist. This whole birthright citizenship thing is a spawning of slavery. So everybody always said, well, everything got to be about race, because it is deeply rooted in how we have operated as a country from the beginning of time. So I want to get into this. Boys and girls, what does that say? Boys, girls, crazy MAGA morons, I present to you Tim Liberal, the best man of the hour of all time, the man that requires your respect, gives respect, I sure do that, loves all of us. This man is the greatest on Mount Rushmore. I don't think my face will ever appear on there, and I don't think they can find stone dark enough to imitate it. But I like the thought. Evil, B, bye, boo. Shout out to you folks showing the program some love. But yeah, when we talk about birthright citizenship, you hear about, what was it, the Dred Scott decision? Because they had to fight to get to this birthright citizenship issue. First, you had slavery end. Then you had the Dred Scott decision, where the Supreme Court ruled that African Americans cannot be citizens. Former slaves cannot be citizens. So in other words, you're going to have a bunch of freed slaves that are roaming around stateless. And keep in mind, many of the African Americans, probably most of the African Americans at that time, did not even know what country they originated from. Because you got to think, slavery goes all the way back to the early 1600s, 1619 project. You may have heard that. So when slavery ended in the late 1800s, these freed slaves were, probably fifth, seventh generation. They had no ties to the homeland. Didn't speak the language, didn't know a damn thing about the customs or anything. So here in America, they fought to gain freedom. And the people of this country are like, but you can't be a citizen here. So they were going to make them stateless. And that's what the Supreme Court with the Dred Scott decision did, is essentially said you can't be a citizen. So they're just walking around with no citizenship rights, a stateless individual. Just think about that also the next time you hear about folks talking about free from slavery. So you gained freedom, but you weren't even classified a citizen. What good is the freedom? You have zero rights that are pertaining to an actual citizen because they don't consider you to be a citizen, but yet they're calling you free. What good is that? What good is that? Anyway, continuing on to get to this birthright citizenship argument. After the Dred Scott decision, it took about 10 more years before they came up with an amendment that finally allowed anyone born in America to stay. And that would apply to all these slaves that were up to that point citizens of nowhere, thanks to the U.S., or better yet, the transatlantic slave trade. They were citizens of nowhere. So this is what we're skipping forward all the way to 2026, and they're challenging the birthright citizenship thing again. And you heard Clarence Thomas, if you read his paperwork, his dissension or whatever, claiming that this was meant for slaves and it's been abused. Now, I'm not going to pretend like birthright citizenship has not been abused. It absolutely has been abused. We're going to talk about how it has. It's deeply tied to the past, et cetera, et cetera. Here's the problem, though. And we're going to tackle this from a standpoint of avoiding chaos. What happens if the Supreme Court rules that birthright citizenship is unconstitutional and simply being born here does not guarantee your citizenship? Do they do it retroactively? Do they do it going forward? Because there's a lot of illegal immigrants that have given birth to children that might be anywhere from a toddler to a full-grown adult. And just like those slaves of yesteryear, they have no ties to where they're from. And by the way, we have deported people like that. I was there's a video on YouTube of a guy who got deported back to South Korea. His parents brought him here when he was a toddler. And he's like 20-something years old. He don't even speak the language. He can't read in Korean. He don't speak the language. They deported him back because he's here illegally. And he was in his 20s. They sent him back, and he's over there. I think he's trying to get a job as a barber or something like that. He has no skills whatsoever, and he's trying to get a job as a barber near the U.S. military bases because he can talk to Americans and cut their hair. So this is what birthright citizenship would have led to. They had ruled it unconstitutional. A whole bunch of people being deported to places that they have no ties to whatsoever. In the comments, Tim, should we be talking about in 2026 about flying cars, the flying skateboards, and the birthright of animals are going to be taking over the planet? Huh? Even what are you talking about? Tim, we should be talking about in 2026 about flying cars, flying skateboards, and the birthright of animals are going to be taking over the planet. Maybe flying cars. Maybe, because we've been talking about flying cars since the Jetsons. Maybe that. But look, at the end of the day, this is way off topic, but I'll just ask a brief question in regards to flying cars, which many of us thought would be around when we were kids, if you're a Gen Xer. Do you really want a whole bunch of heavy machines flying over you, rush hour traffic style? I mean, it's worse enough having a commercial jet crash every now and then. Imagine I think everybody in here has probably been in at least one accident. If you're over 35, 40 years of age, you've been in at least one car crash. Can you imagine? So flying cars, you may never see that. I think that's kind of dangerous. And they do have drones now that can do that. The handsome conservative says, I will not be shown up late. Oh my God, I appreciate it though. I would not be showing up, ladies and gentlemen, the man of the hour with the heart of a champion fighting for his beliefs. All rise for the handsome liberal. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. I do appreciate that. Wow. I'm going to be thinking about that later. I'm trying to heart it, but it won't let me acknowledge it. Thank you, handsome conservative. So we're going to be talking about that with both of those rulings. Now, I got a few other topics before we start taking callers and making this program go. They're still fighting for the Save America Act. Trump and Trump supporters in Congress are still holding up shit for the Save America Act. Now, how far is the election out? The midterms, early November. So we're talking. It's basically July now. So August, September, October. So 4 months. So 4 months in a couple of days or so is the midterms. Do you think he's going to be able to get the Save America Act passed? Trump generally gets what he wants, whether we like it or not. He normally gets what he wants, but do you believe he's going to be able to get the Save America Act passed? I'm going to tell you two issues I have here. And I see somebody on TikTok said I'm lagging. I don't know why I'm on Wi-Fi. I got two issues. First of all, number one issue being, I really wish Trump would actually have shown more proof and evidence of why the Save America Act is so important, because he calls it a national emergency. I really wish he had shown proof, because perhaps I might be on his side with the Save America Act. But when you got a guy that's known for saying a lot of shit and not proving any of it, it's hard to just bow down and give him acts of legislation that he's deeming must be passed. Proofs, show us some of the stuff that you're talking about. So that's the first issue I have. The second issue I have is the sheer amount of time. That's why I asked, the midterms are in November. It's already July, basically. If you pass the Save America Act and you got tens of millions of people scrambling to get documents and stuff like that, everybody's not going to get that shit in 4 months. It's just not going to happen. Everybody is not going to get that stuff in 4 months. If they pass the Save America Act today, you got 4 months for people to be able to get all this stuff. You've made it so there are no mail-in votes. So everything has to be done by that day. You've compressed things down so much that you're going to have a whole lot of people saying that I legally am a citizen. I legally have the right to vote. And thanks to the Save America Act, I was not able to get documents. I was not able to do this or that in time. And my vote did not go through. What you're not going to have, once the Save America Act is passed, what you're not going to have is the folks on the right who support the act presenting to you a whole bunch of illegal immigrants that thanks to the Save America Act, we stopped this person from voting. They're not going to show you any of that. You're not going to get any of that. So that's why I have a hard time with it, is because I believe at the end of the day, the Save America Act is going to hurt far more legitimate voters than it's going to prevent illegals from voting or people who should not be able to vote. I don't think it's going to be many of them caught up in that. I think it's going to be a whole lot of legitimate, true red-blooded Americans prevented from voting. I think that's what's going to be the net effect of this, is a whole bunch of Americans the day after the election complaining that my vote didn't go through because of this or that. I showed them my passport and it didn't match my maiden name, and it's going to be all of that kind of stuff. So for that reason, the true chaos that would ensue passing this so quick, I can't support it. Pursue the Save America Act and pursue it before the 2028 elections. You have enough time to do all of that. 4 months, you don't have enough time. There's just no way if they pass the Save America Act, people are going to be able to get out. I mean, I think they said about 30 to 40% of Americans don't even have passports. It takes time to get a passport. You don't get that right away at the post office. It takes time. So if you only got 4 months, that means once this passed, you need to run out and get that like today started. You don't get to wait 2-3 weeks, a month. I'll fuck around with it in September. No, it's too late already. It's already too late. So yeah, I absolutely disagree with it for that reason. Last but not least, and I'll start taking callers. Tap the screen, get the likes on up to 10,000 if you will. If you're watching us on YouTube, smash that like button, helps out the algorithm, and we'll get the show started. I want you to hear an individual, if I got it queued up, that I think is worthy of discussing, because we often talk about everything from Sharia law to terrorism, et cetera, in regards
Let's
to
talk about the Muslims. Want to?
in regards to the Arab community. I want you to, this is a guy just posted on YouTube, and what did it says here? It's interesting that the demons don't get mad at Muslims, only at Jesus Christ. Somebody sent him that. and he's responding to it. He says, the statement that somebody sent him says, it's interesting that the demons don't get mad at Muslims. They only get mad at Jesus Christ, which I suppose would put the Muslim community in some kind of negative light. I want you to hear his response.
Let's talk about the Muslims. Do you want to? The Muslims have never knocked on my door and asked me to join their church, but the Christians do. Muslims have never once called me a demon and told me I was going to hell, but the Christians do. Muslims aren't demanding that we teach the Quran in our public schools, but the Christians are demanding that we teach the Bible in our public schools. Muslims also aren't demanding that we put their religious texts on the walls of our public schools, but the Christians are demanding that we put the 10 Commandments on our public schools. Christians are also busy passing laws that make it so that women can't control their own bodies and that gay people don't have equal rights in this country. That's all Christianity, not Islam. Anyway, the Muslims are enjoyable to be around. The Christians, not so much. I hope this helped.
That's interesting. Now, wow, I know I got a lot of Christians that watch, probably very few Muslims, but how do you respond to that? I want to get some of you folks on when we start taking calls. I want to get your opinion on that because, I mean, I didn't hear him say any lies in that. Look, I'm not going to say Christians are not cool to hang around. Everybody I know is Christian, so that last part I'll strike. But all the rest of that stuff, you know, forcing Christianity on kids in schools and knocking on doors saying, join our church. All the rest of that stuff, he said, I haven't heard anything that was inaccurate. Maybe you did, and I would certainly invite you to help correct me. So you guys know how the program is ran. We don't block, ban, or censor. This is always going to be a MAGA-friendly program. You guys know what I do. I hold up the hat and make sure you understand we're MAGA-friendly. We don't block, ban, or censor. Our comments go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with Q. Liberals are welcome as well. You can be critical of anybody on the program, including yours truly. So let's get into it. Looking straight in the comments. And by the way, tap the screen if you're watching on TikTok. Get us up to 10,000 so we can start taking callers in the comments. So she's not an American. What are you saying there, Robbie? Would Donald Trump be deported? I don't believe he would be. He's multiple. What is his dad was an American? I think Donald Trump is what, second or third generation? I think his grandparents came here as immigrants, but his dad and of course him, they are here legally. I don't force anything. I just like to spread love. Well, Robbie, that's you, but obviously Christians are forcing things. I mean, once you start requiring children to read it in schools, you are forcing stuff, and that's exactly what's going on. Christian nationalists are not pleasant to be around. They are full of hate, says Mr. Wise Guy 77. Wow. What is the difference between a Christian, though, and a Christian nationalist? I would love to get your opinion. Democrats lower the deficit, give us deflation to make the economy stronger. Republicans give us inflation and give us COVID-19. I don't agree with the last part. Republicans didn't give us COVID-19. Where are you getting that one from? We've always been a Christian country. Now you want to just stop. This is not new. No, Capone, I don't think it's a matter of, that's a good point. We've always been a country that majority of the population are Christian. We have not always been a Christian country. That's not accurately portrayed. We've been a country that favors Christianity. Just like we're not an English-speaking country. We are a country that most of the people speak English because the Native Americans were not originally speaking English and they were here first. And then, of course, there were also a lot of Hispanics here and French. So we're not an English-speaking country. We're a country that most of the people speak English. Same thing with Christianity. We're not a Christian country. We're a country that most of the people are Christian. The problem, though, is forcing the religion on other people. That is what's happening. If it wasn't for the effort to force Christianity on people, I don't think you would have as much of an issue. But the Christians are now chastising and criticizing other religions and trying to shove their religion down the throats of kids in some places. So that's where the issue is starting to develop. In the comments here, Evil B Babu says, Trump remind me of the gentleman from Total Recall trying to destroy aliens. We need Arnold Schwarzenegger. Get your ass back to Mars. Great movie. Read Columbus Diaries. You were already here. That's the point I'm making, is that there were people here that didn't speak English. That's all I'm saying. There were people here who didn't speak English. So we're not an English speaking country. We're a country where most of the people speak English. TikTok is warning me that most of you guys have not shared the live. I don't normally ask you to do that, but since TikTok brought it up, please share the live. We'll start out with the one and only Doomsday, aka Straight Talk Commerce. Good evening, Straight Talk.
I go away for a little while, try to give you a little break, and you are still peddling the bullshit.
Tell me what
The birthright citizenship came from Jusoli. It is way prior. This argument has been for centuries. Jusoli means from the soil.
No, you should tell Clarence Thomas. Clarence Thomas didn't say nothing about what you. He talked about slavery. The Supreme Court justice who dissented,
In
Clarence
the
Thomas.
In the United
Well,
States,
what the hell? That's what we're talking about.
Decision.
We're talking about in America. We're not talking about centuries ago.
Well, what I'm saying is every other country, first world nations, abandoned Jusoli. I don't know.
Canada had.
They abandoned Jusoli a long time ago when they recognized that people were going to move to their country if they didn't do something. You can't have two non-citizens. It is true.
Canada has birthright citizenship.
Who else?
Oh man, Alexa. What first world countries have birthright citizenship?
Research on this, dum-dum. I already know the answer to this question. You're right.
Alexa,
Canada,
stop.
I don't even consider Canada a first world
Really?
country.
Why would you not?
No, they're 3%. They are 3% of our economy.
You don't consider Canada a first world country?
No,
Give me an example of another. Okay, give me an example of another first world country then.
Well, any of the countries in Europe, China, Russia. I mean, Canada is a very small. It wouldn't even make up a state if it were in the United States. And you're going to use them as an example. Their population.
There are plenty of countries that you said every country. You said plenty of countries in Europe are first world. There are many countries in Europe that would not be as big as a state as well. There's small countries in Europe.
Totally understand, but those countries, you would consider them first world, wouldn't you?
I would consider Canada first world.
Well, I don't.
Why?
I don't.
Give me a reason other than GDP.
You only came up. You got one example. Give me another example of a first world country that follows Jusoli.
Birthright citizenship.
It's a bad idea. It's a bad idea if you want to keep a nation.
I don't think it's a bad idea. I think that as long as you got...
Of course you don't. Of course you don't. I'm just saying, you cannot... It came from centuries when countries they needed people to be citizens. And by the way, the Republicans were the ones that passed the Civil Rights Act of 1866.
Yeah, but that's irrelevant at this point.
No, I don't think so.
I'll tell you why it's irrelevant. Because you guys are you telling half the story. What you're trying to say is Republicans were pro freeing slaves and Democrats. But when it comes to calling out the progressives versus the conservatives, you don't say anything. Because the fact is, when the Democrats were in favor of slavery, they were called conservatives. You don't bring that part up.
You are a replacement. Dude, you are seriously.
I'm asking you, which party freed which group freed the slaves?
Think it wasn't the Democrats that put you in the chain.
No, I agree with that part. Which side freed slavery? Progressives or conservatives? Which side freed the slaves? Progressives or conservatives?
It was well, you would consider it a progressive
idea.
What would you consider
it? What would you consider it?
I think it is a conservative idea.
Right.
Because progressives want people in chains now. That's why you want all this illegal immigration.
But you do admit, you do admit
tax people, but you don't want to give them representation.
So you do admit slaves were freed in that day, in that era, by progressives. Now, when you look at who
I just said no. No, I did not say that.
Did the
I
conservatives free
said
them?
you would say.
No, I'm
I
asking
said
you.
You would say it's a progressive idea. It's
I'm
not.
asking
It's a
you.
conservative idea.
I'm asking you. Was it progressives
It's a
or
conservative idea.
conservatives?
Slavery, the freeing people from slavery is definitely a conservative idea.
Okay, so who freed them? Progressives or conservatives? Who freed them? Who actually did it?
Conservatives.
Right.
Conservatives.
So which party is considered conservatives now?
Conservatives.
Between Republicans and Democrats, which party is considered conservatives now in 2026?
No, Republican.
Right. So
Republican.
something switched, didn't it?
No.
How could you? You just
What do you
said
mean?
free.
If conservatives freed the slaves.
Right, and they did it as a. You said no. Conservatives didn't free the slaves. I just asked you that.
I said no, Tim. I need you to listen.
I'm listening.
You would say.
No, I want to know what
you would say.
this is
I
not
would
about
not
you.
say that.
This is about me asking you
It
how
is a
you
I
feel.
said it is a conservative idea not to have slavery. That is not a progressive idea.
Right.
It is a conservative idea. Conservatives released the slaves.
Right.
Conservatives did that.
And where are the
Not
conservatives?
progressives, they
And
want slavery.
which party does the conservatives of today affiliate with?
Republicans.
If you wanted to honor one of the folks that used to own slaves back in that era, which party would support? Which party would support? Which party would support you honoring one of those conservatives that was pro-slavery back then? If you wanted to put up a statue to honor one, which party would honor that?
Abraham Lincoln was in what party?
He was a Republican.
He was the first Republican.
Right.
Okay.
He was a progressive. What he did was a progressive idea.
No. Listen, no. It is a conservative idea that people are created equal. Conservative idea, not a progressive idea. That's not a progressive idea. Progressive idea is that you are somehow being oppressed. That is a progressive idea, that you're a victim.
Well, the whole part about you being created equal is a fucking lie. The people who originally in the Declaration of Independence.
You don't think you're created equal?
No, I'm saying the people who wrote that didn't think we were created equal.
I disagree.
You think when they wrote the Declaration of Independence, they considered us all equal, women and minorities and all of them? They believed that?
As far as being human, yes.
What does that mean? If I can't do the same stuff, what do you mean by as far as being human?
Well, listen, would you consider yourself... Oh, here we go.
He's conservative, though. He is a conservative. He is a conservative.
Listen, you can't have a... I know. This is why I don't come around.
Oh, come on.
No.
Well, it's because you're not a real conservative. That's why it's straight talk.
Jeremy, honestly.
Go ahead. Let him make straight talk. What were you about to say?
It's fine. Look, enjoy your time.
I wanted to hear your point.
You and I can have the conversation again without you needing help. You let me.
He's on your side.
I begged you. I have. Why do I have to have a conversation with 6 people? Why do you need that?
There's only two people other than yourself.
Okay, how about this, Jeremy? I'll reserve your galaxy, Jerry. I'll reserve it.
Goddamn.
I'll reserve it, and I'll make sure you come on, Jeremy. Look, I want to hear your point. What were you about to say? No, don't send a galaxy on this guy just for this one time. What is the point you're about to make?
Say that again.
What is the point you were about to make before he came up?
I don't remember. I honestly don't remember. You do that shit all the time.
I don't
come back. Why do you think I don't come around anymore? Why is it that you should be able to make an income from talking to me? Why is that?
That ain't what's happening. This is what the viewers.
No, it is. It is. Every time I come up, you make 3, 4, 5 gallons. You know.
Are you hating on the? Are you here to have a conversation? Are you hating on the galaxies? Which one is?
No, what I'm trying to say is, look, and I don't begrudge you. That's fine.
Thank you.
What I'm trying to say is, I would rather, if you're going to do this to me here, then never mind. That's fine.
Okay, so let's get back to birthright citizenship. Birthright citizenship. So you think birthright citizenship should be eradicated?
Yes, you should not. This is the way it should work. If you have a citizen and a non-citizen, and they have a child born in the country, it should be a citizen. If you have two non-citizens that have a child, both parents are non-citizens, it should not be a citizen.
Retroactively. So should they do it retroactively or going forward? Because there's a lot of people here now that have given
retroactively. I don't think that you have any tie to the soil. There is no jus soli. There is no right to the soil. That's what I'm trying to say to you.
And that's what that's the reason why I'm not a fan of it. Well, I'm not a fan of it, period. But that certainly just strengthens it, because to me that would turn ICE into monsters. Because there are people who, like I mentioned, a Korean guy that I was watching a YouTube video of. His mom brought him here when he was a toddler, and he's like 20-some years of age. And under the Trump administration, they don't deported him back to South Korea. He don't speak the language. He can't read. He's useless there. He don't know anything.
Whether they get deported or not is a completely different argument. Whether they can become a citizen, whether they can naturalize, is a completely different argument.
All right, that's okay. Now we're getting so you would agree then. I mean, it sounds like you're saying.
I believe in immigration. So yes, I want people to come to this country. We cannot procreate ourselves out of the problem that we are having right now. We need 7 times the people in this country than we have.
I think you could do that. I actually think you could do that, straight. I'll tell you why.
You can ask your mothers, your daughters, your wives to have 7 children.
Well, no, but I'll tell you the reason why I'm saying. I think that if we were more helpful of families in need, because remember, you've already agreed with me that you believe in a don't ask me for shit philosophy. Yeah, under that philosophy, nobody's going to have kids because it's too expensive. If we looked out for mom, because a lot of folks that terminate their children, it's because of financial reasons. If you help those parents out,
I don't owe you money to have children.
Do you want the fucking kids or not? Do you want the kids or do you want money?
Elsewhere, I don't want you having kids because you can't make enough money to support them.
Then this is the problem you're going to have.
Immigrants that will come here and work and be actual citizens and be taxpayers. Why in the world do I want to subsidize any goddamn thing from you?
Everything.
That's my problem. You are always trying to get me to subsidize your lifestyle. You want me to subsidize your lives? You want me to subsidize your health care?
You're going to straight talk. You're going to do that anyway. Like for instance, they're passing. Let me explain it to you. Let me explain it to you. You guys are talking about passing law. Okay, you don't pass a law in many states where women cannot terminate the life of the unborn. If they do, you're going to throw them in prison. That means you're subsidizing that mom. You're feeding her, you're housing her, you're clothing. You are doing that stuff. Every time you're doing exactly that.
No, not at all.
Then where the money come? If she's in jail, where the money comes
from? Whether you can murder that, listen. You can murder that child.
Where does the money come from? If she's locked up, where does the money come from to feed, housing, clothes, or what?
You think I automatically have to give her money because I told her she had to keep the kid? No.
No, but
not only do you have to keep the child, you are going to have to work, get a job, and support that child.
But if she doesn't want to have
why am I involved at all?
Because once she says, look, I goofed up, I got pregnant, I don't want to keep the child, you step up and say, no, I'm going to force you to do it anyway. That's why you're involved.
No, listen, if someone comes at you with a knife, I am not going to let them stab you. Okay, I'm going to protect your life.
What do they got to do with
this? That doesn't mean, hold on, dude. That doesn't mean that every minute for the rest of your life, I'm going to support you. I'm going to prevent this individual from taking your life from you. You have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But it doesn't mean that I need to subsidize it. You need to grow up and start subsidizing your own life.
Evil says, would you tell this moron to go back to Mars, please? He can't take the heat. He's pushing back, but here's the point I'm trying to make straight talk. As simple as this. If you want more Americans being born, like Charlie Kirk used to say, have more kids than you can afford. If that's your goal, is to raise the population of this country.
I just said, I only want you to have the children you can afford because I have other people from other countries that would like to be part of America, and you're taking up space for them. I would rather have immigrants from other countries than your lazy ass
That ain't your.
expecting me to
Then-
pay
then-
for everything for you.
Then why the hell? If that's the case, then what the hell makes you a Republican? Because that's a left wing
That is
philosophy.
a very conservative way of thought.
No, it ain't.
Listen, yes, it is.
Most of the folks
Tim,
come.
I look at you as my equal.
Most
Whether
of the
you wanna be
immigrants-
equal to me or not.
Most of the immigrants you guys are blocking from coming in this country are people that fit the narrative that you just stated. People who are willing to work hard.
100% that's not true. Syrians, Haitians,
Mexicans,
come on.
Venezuelans,
Get the fuck outta here.
Guatemalans.
No.
You don't
Now,
think
look,
Mex-
some of the South American immigrants that we get, fine. But there are plenty of populations. When you have Somalians, that 86% of them are solely on social services. These are not immigrants that you want to bring
No,
into your
that- no,
country.
no.
I don't give a fuck who they are.
No, the reason you have so many of them on social services may not be because they're lazy. It may be because we're underpaying them. You got a lot of Americans, straight talk, that are on social services and they're working 40 to 60 hours a week. It ain't always laziness. Sometimes it's they actually working their ass off and not getting paid. If you work at a fucking Dollar Tree 40 hours a week, you don't make enough to survive. You're probably on some kind of social service.
A Dollar Tree employee, that is a job for a high school student.
Ain't nobody in high school working in them places.
Would you
Ain't nobody, them in high school, they're not employing high schoolers. Them are full-grown adults working in that place.
I understand that.
Right.
That's a problem. I wouldn't want that for them. I would like for you to get trained on an actual career, educated on an actual job. Just because you want to
Then why don't
fight
you
me on
pass
that
a-
doesn't
then-
mean I don't want the best for you.
Then why don't you pass a law or promote passing a law like in Australia, for instance, they got a law that says the minimum wage for high schoolers is different than it is for full-grown adults. So if you're going to
I don't believe in
employ,
minimum wage at all. You shouldn't have a minimum wage at all. At all.
so just let the
There
employer
should be
let
no
the employer
way,
pay let the employer pay you whatever they want.
No, you're looking at the wrong direction. You should not be able to tell me how much I have to charge to do a job. What business is it of yours? If I want to dig a hole and someone is saying I'll dig the hole for $50 and I say I'll do it for $25, I'm younger, I'll dig the hole faster. Why are you involved? Why can't I dig the hole for $25?
Because you would turn America into Chinese labor. I mean, that's what
No, I would
that's
not.
what the capitalists.
No, I would not.
That's
I
what
would
the
make
capitalists of
American
this.
citizens realize that they need to get educated. They
No.
need to get off their ass and come up with their own businesses. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
If I were in charge, you would be 100%
Yeah.
better off
No.
than you were now.
No,
where
because
everybody's
you're
telling you
always
it's
gonna-
okay to be
you
stupid,
are always
it's okay
gonna-
to be
no.
lazy. It's okay not to work for somebody else.
You're always
That's
going
why.
to you are always going to find people that are going to be able to be exploited, that are not going to be savvy enough to barter and bargain for a higher rate, and that's who they're going to go looking for. And
You do it to everybody, not just the people that are dumb enough. You do it to everyone. You
What the hell are you
exploit
talking
everyone.
about?
Because you go and steal from the wealthy, you go steal money from them, and you pass crumbs along to the people that you claim that you care about.
Right.
As long, though, as they will vote for you.
We're stealing money from the wealthy. Meanwhile, that's the only people in this country whose wealth is going up. Yet you guys are like fucking defenders
That's
of the
not true.
rich. You
That
guys
is
are like
not true.
I've never seen
One
so
man-
many people. I've never seen
One man in 72 hours created 4,400 millionaires.
I've never
One guy.
seen a party with so many dirt poor people defending gazillionaires. I don't understand this shit. You're never going to be one. You're never going to be. You're closer to the motherfuckers you're fighting against
Who are
than
you
you are
talking
these
to?
people. I'm talking to you and your party. You're not going to be these people. You're much closer to
You
the.
have absolutely no idea my net worth. I have spent the last 5 years of my life teaching others how to generate wealth. When the fuck did I come to you for a dime?
And I'm going
You're
to.
the one grifting off of me.
I'm going. I'm going to repeat.
Are you serious?
Yes, I am
You can't
dead
even have a
serious.
conversation
I
with
am
me
dead
Unless
serious.
somebody comes comes up and gives you money.
If you were making a killing like that, you wouldn't be on fucking TikTok trying to sell stock tips or whatever the hell
You
you're
don't know
doing.
what the fuck I'm doing.
I do
You
know.
have absolutely, you don't get to, and by the way, Elon, a trillionaire, is on X every minute of the day. Go talk to
Yeah,
him.
but when Elon is on X, when Elon is on X, there are thousands of motherfuckers listening. I see where you be on it. You got
Give
less
me a
motherfuckers
minute.
watching you than
Give
me.
me a minute, motherfucker. Give me a minute.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, are you serious?
Yes,
When did
dead
you-
serious.
When did you become the determining factor of who makes it and who doesn't?
I ain't got nothing to do with that. I'm simply saying you use Elon. Look at when Elon's on. Look at how many people are watching him. And then when you are on next time, look at how many people watching your ass. It's not the same.
Do you think Elon started there? That's where he started? I mean, you're going to use that as a cudgel against
No,
me?
I'm
Are
going-
you serious?
Yes,
Bitch, you
yes.
had 10 followers at one point, too.
You know, I used it because I
That's
told
the dirty
you.
little secret
let-
about Tim.
Right. Let me tell you why I use it. I told you you're defending the wealthy when you're much closer to the poor. And you tried to make it sound like you were balling out of fucking control. That's why I brought up your numbers.
You keep if you keep taking from the people who are doing shit, I'll never get there. So how about you get off my dick? How about you keep your hands out of my pocket?
All right.
Fuck, dude. No wonder I'm not a trillionaire by now. You keep putting your fucking fingers in my pocket.
All right. All right, straight talk. You
To
lived,
talk to you.
you lived up to your
I
fucking
miss you.
name. You lived up to your name. I do gotta move it on.
I miss you, Tim.
Same. Good
I gotta
talk.
say.
We don't agree on shit, but you're always welcome. I had to come by and
Come by and see me sometime, and that maybe I'll grow a little.
all right. I'll come by and holler at you sometime. Straight talk. Get the fuck out of here. Good talk. Good talk. All right. Tap the screen. Get the likes on up if you will. Now, real quick, I hadn't talked to Straight Talk in a while, and unfortunately, because we don't get as many MAGA, he's sweating. He didn't want to. So, two galaxies came in, Rod S. and Jeremy. I had to find a way to make it up to him. And Rod, I had made it clear, don't send a galaxy, but maybe you didn't hear me or something like that. But I'll continue on with the program. But normally, the rules are the rules. If somebody's up talking and somebody wants to challenge them, a galaxy comes in. Those are rules not created by me, but created by you folks after I polled you. So I do want to live up to those rules, but unfortunately, the MAGA viewers don't want to talk to anybody. And it's only MAGA. The liberals will be on the program. If somebody want to challenge them, even if it's MAGA, they don't run. I don't know why it's MAGA, but MAGA does not want to be challenged. So take it with a grain of salt. In the comments, Tim, get off his, he said, get his alien ass off. He's lying up a bad storm. He's a bad comedian. Get him off the stage. Get this MAGA clown off. And people are already clicking like on that comment, Evil. Wow. Well, listen. Like I said, we do enjoy talking to MAGA as well. We're not going to agree always. There's liberals I don't agree with as well. So it is what it is, but that's what happens. Looking in the comments, I've come up many times to talk to you, Tim. I'm not going to, what does that say? I'm not running from you. Well, MAGA mission, thank you. I appreciate that, but it's not enough. You know, I would prefer have maybe even more MAGA on the program than liberals because I lean somewhat center left, but it's hard to maintain MAGA when you start speaking of ill of Trump in any way, fashion, or form. It makes it harder, but we don't censor MAGA in any way. It's just that they don't like hearing Trump being criticized. Jeremy, I apologize for having to drop you, but I did want to finish that. But I'll go ahead and give you first dibs. What did you disagree with him on? Now you are conservative, so what did you disagree with him on?
Well, I just don't like fake conservatives like him.
You consider him a fake conservative? Explain, elaborate.
He's sold out to Israel.
Ooh.
Like, and here's the thing. Conservatives hate me for when I say that, but liberals also hate me when I say this. I think Israel has the right to exist and protect itself. Mm-hmm. I think Israel does have the right to do that. What I don't like is that currently in the state of Wisconsin, there's actually a law that says that the people who work for the government are not allowed to boycott the state of Israel, even with their own personal paycheck.
Wow. I just heard I mean, that's terrible. I just heard today on one of the programs that Israel now controls 2/3 of Gaza, and they're still killing people. They just killed a little kid or something like that today. I agree with you. Israel has a right to exist and defend itself as well, but at some point, it's no longer self-defense. I mean, what is this,
Right.
like the Carmelo Anthony of the East? I mean, I know I'm a pissing people off. This is a bad
That
joke,
was
but
good. That was good. That was really
but
good.
you can't go around killing Gazans like crazy. To me, what Israel is doing is well beyond self-defense.
Yeah, and again is the thing is I'm a little politically homeless to a degree. Like I consider myself right of center, classically conservative, and more favoring of capitalism, but I like the idea of capitalism with rules, which is not the same as being in favor of socialism, FYI. But the thing is that I don't like the idea that there is a foreign country, because that's what Israel is. It is a foreign country with foreign governments, a foreign government that has undue control and influence on the United States. And it's not to believe that Jews control the world. I don't believe in any of that conspiracy theory shit. You know, I think the majority of Jews don't have any real power at all. But
You're the first I've ever heard say that. I've never heard anybody say that before.
Yeah, well, I don't want people, because when you criticize Israel, a lot of people equate it to criticizing the Jews. The government of Israel is a sin.
You're correct. This is an argument I have with a lot of African Americans that don't like when I say this as well. I'm like, look, just because somebody white criticizes black people, don't make them a racist. Just because somebody white or somebody period criticizes Israel doesn't make them an anti-Semite. There are legitimate reasons to criticize any group of people. So I agree with you. It has gotten that way that if you criticize Israel, people are yelling you're anti-Semitic. Like, no, they're not perfect. They're doing some shit.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not like all Jews are responsible for what Israel does. Israel is a government. Israel is a nation state. You know, that's not the same thing as just some guy named, I don't know, Moishe that lives in like Boston or something like that and has never actually gone to Israel in his life. That's not the same thing.
Damn right, because I don't want to be held responsible for everything Trump does because I'm an American. You're absolutely right about that.
Yeah, exactly. And just because you're black doesn't mean that doesn't make you the same as George Floyd.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like I said, to me, any group of people has folks amongst it that you should be able to criticize without being told you hate the whole damn group of people.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, with Straight Talk, I was on his program like that he runs, and I said I think Israel is a disgusting country, and I probably should have worded it better. I should have worded it. And the government of Israel is doing disgusting things.
Okay.
That's a much better. Yeah. That's a much better, I think, thing to say. But he's like, I would sign up for Israel today. That's literally what he said. I would sign, to fight for them. I've ruck and sack and everything. And I'm like, really? Are you serious?
Well, yeah. Well, first of all, Straight Talk is pro-Trump. He's MAGA. So when he says he'll sign up and fight for Israel, he's basically said, I'm going to go wherever Trump goes. If Trump all of a sudden has a falling out with Netanyahu and starts talking like you or me and saying that they've went too far and what they're doing is wrong, Straight Talk is suddenly going to be like, well, maybe I don't want to fight for them anymore. He's just doing what he thinks Trump would want. That's kind of, he's MAGA. That's where that's coming from.
Yeah, unfortunately. And the thing is, Tim, when it comes to when it comes to Trump, you read my Substack article, the new rules for conservatives. And I called Trump out, and I said he's not a real conservative. The conservative principles are ones that transcend time. The idea is that we make progress slowly, so that way we don't mess anything up that can't be undone. And we believe in strong family values, which doesn't have to be the white picket fence and we just.
I don't get that. I don't get why. When you look at how Trump is governed, particularly in his second go round, I don't get why any conservative thinks he's conservative to begin with. The guy doesn't have a church. He's not a family values guy that's been married to his high school sweetheart or something. I mean, there's nothing about this dude. He spends like crazy. He's for big government. He's talking about nationalizing elections and shit. He's record banning bump stocks and talking about you don't need high capacity magazines. Like, what is conservative
there's
about
conservative
this dude?
about him.
Like,
Yeah, there's no. Yeah, the thing is that I think that we were sick of, and back in 2016. I didn't vote for him in 2016. I voted for him in 2020 and 2024. Back in 2016, I was suspicious because he had been a Democrat his whole life.
Yeah.
You know, he was a Democrat for most of his life, you know, and I was suspicious. And part of me is now looking back at 2016 me, and 2016 me is laughing in my face, you know, because he's not doing what he said he was
you
gonna
know,
do.
I still think Trump may be as a person more left leaning, but I also believe he's an opportunist, and I think that he believed. I think he even said something to the notion of Republicans are not smart. Something crazy. I don't want to disrespect Republican viewers, but he did indicate something to the notion of, if I run, I think I have a better chance of winning on the Republican ticket. I don't think he's a Republican. I just think he is an opportunist, and he went where he had the best chance of success, not based on principles, based on which one of these parties might help me win the most.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I think that a good thing for people to remember here is that it's not that he's flawed, because everybody's flawed, you know, and I know people who are very, very conservative, who put in the work to make their marriage work, and maybe they had like an abusive ex who used to mistreat them all the time, and for their own safety, they had to get a divorce. You know what I mean? And I understand that, like, some people have made bad decisions in their life. I have time, you know, that they regrets or whatever. But like, the thing is, the man had like literally banged Stormy Daniels. He's been married not like twice, which would make sense, but hasn't he been married 3 times, had kids with all 3 of his wives, you know, and he's never said like, hey, I wish my first marriage had worked out. He just said, whatever, I did it. Yeah. I don't care. You know, like there's no looking back and like saying, I wish this had worked out.
And that's what I don't get, the family values part. Look, you know, I know as an African American, if I had that many baby mamas and I was running in politics, MAGA would be using that against me. Look at this guy; he can't even commit to one woman. He got all these baby mamas. I wonder, can he even afford them all? Now we know Trump can afford his kids, but the point I'm saying is he is fitting some of the stereotypes that a lot of MAGA criticize. Real quick in the comments, somebody said, what is this? Says Paradox of Tolerance says, so is this whole show staged? Callers? Paradox, I'll make you next to prove you. I'll make you next to prove the answer to your question. If you want to come up, you can be the next caller. I won't block you. I won't ban you. I won't censor you. I'll give you at least 10 minutes to state your case. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, you know, and then I do want to eventually like get to like the Supreme Court thing. But the last thing I'll say about Trump is that, you know, he's created a cult of personality, and people are afraid to say what he is. They're afraid to say what he is.
Well, he is a dangerous man, Jeremy. He is somebody that if you say something negative to, you got to worry about him coming after you. I mean, he got a lot of goons out. I mean, he got millions of goons. Go ask Mark and Keller Green. I mean, I understand why people are scared of him. He does come after you.
Yeah, he does, and the thing is, we need people to call him out, like when he's not holding up to his principles. I am not perfect, Tim. Okay, I'm not going to say that I have always done everything exactly as a conservative has done, but when people ask me about it, I'm very forward about it. I'm like, yeah, I wish I had done this differently, and I try. I actually put an actual effort to live by my principles, and I think that Trump, he's someone who was just making a mockery of what it means to be a conservative, you know. But anyway, I do want to talk about the Supreme Court real quick. I know we don't have a lot of time, but
birthright citizenship, or to me, preventing men from playing in women's sports. I mean, we can talk about it if you want. I'm one that's on the side of that. You know, look, being as big as I am, 6'6", 300 pounds, I cannot imagine any school or even at the adult level, I cannot imagine me ever playing sports with girls. To me, that just sounds crazy. So if we want to talk about that ruling, we can, but I'm on the side of it. I just think that the Republicans made a big something to do over nothing. I don't think there's enough of that to make the issue they did out of it, but I agree with it. So we want to talk about birthright citizenship or that one? Go ahead.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I have mixed feelings about birthright citizenship. I think it just is being abused. Because, like for instance, Hassan Piker is literally an anchor baby. That not even joking. They actually, like, his parents admitted that they actually brought him to the States when they were pregnant.
Who is this? Whose kid is this? Who are you talking about?
Hassan Piker. He's a very well-known left-wing streamer on Twitch.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's called for the death of Rick Scott, and he's literally said, like, you should slice them and dice them. And he said, like, you should slice up like landlords.
He's but he's some okay. So you're basing your whole thing over some idiot on the internet, though.
Well, he's just an example of birthright citizenship gone wrong. His parents literally admitted that they came to the States and gave birth to him in the States and then brought him back to Turkey so he could be raised like a Turkish citizen, but then also get immediate like citizenship in the United States.
And here's, but see, this is where I started yelling intolerance and damn near want to scream out racism on the conservative side of the aisle, on your side of the aisle. Why are all your stories about immigrants negative? I'm sure there's some folks who came here as an illegal immigrant. The birthright citizenship argument, they got in the military. It was in a foxhole or something that's actually saved some of our soldiers. There's got to be some good news stories out there. Like, all the immigrant stories can't be negative. Like, every story they talk about on the right is negative.
Well, Tim, if you want to highlight a problem, you're not going to talk about the positives. It doesn't mean that there isn't any positives. I'm an immigrant. No,
but you make it maybe by only highlighting the negatives, you exacerbate the problem to astronomical levels that is not. Like with the transgender thing, they're trying to find every trans person you can find that may have done something wrong to a child, so that you make this huge mountain out of something that doesn't exist. That's what we're talking. It's not a problem. It's being made into a problem by only finding negative stories to televise.
Well, hold on. I do think that illegal immigration is a problem. I genuinely do. As a whole, it is a problem. And that's why we highlight it. That doesn't mean that being an immigrant automatically makes you a bad person. But like, it just means that that's like, there is a larger scale problem. Now, on an individual basis, you could have an illegal immigrant who came here when he was 4, who did some really good things for America, who maybe should be given who maybe should at most pay a fine or something like that, and then be allowed to earn their citizenship by going through the test.
That's what Straight Talk said. Even though me and Straight Talk didn't agree on much, I did agree with him in suggesting that even if you're going to get rid of birthright citizenship, there should be a path to becoming a citizen. But that's not what's coming from the Trump camp. What's coming from the Trump camp is a ban on all third world countries, a ban on Muslim countries, raising the amount of sponsorship. He's trying to go after green cards. This dude is just anti-immigrant, period. And he's trying to mask it as, well, I'm trying to protect you from the ones that are raping and murdering. No, you're anti-immigrant, dude. You're trying to get rid of all of these motherfuckers. And you're trying to mask it as, you're only going after violent felons. No, you're not. You're going after grandmas and fucking babies and shit. You're going after everybody.
Well, they should. Well, everybody who comes into the country should be told to either leave or come back and do it right.
Didn't admit that. Everybody should. Didn't just say that. Quit making this bullshit about going after felons. Just say that. I don't want anybody to come here.
But Tim, here's what I believe. I believe that the priority should be the worst of them. So yeah, I'm okay with like if we get to the guy who's just a migrant farmer who gets underpaid by Monsanto to do whatever, well, Monsanto doesn't grow food, they just make the pesticides, but whatever, you get my point. They're being underpaid and exploited by a large company or something like that to pick fruits or whatever, and they're not, and they, other than illegally coming into the country, that's their only crime. And they're doing work, they're just doing it under the table or whatever. Yeah. If that guy gets picked up by ICE last, I'm okay with that because I'm more concerned about the rapist or the murderer.
And that's not what happened. I mean, Trump has only been in office a year and a half. I'd say within the first few days of his term, they're in courtrooms grabbing people up. This motherfucker don't showed up to court to try to continue the legal process. He ain't raped and murdered nobody. Why the hell you hanging out in court interrupting his shit? So they didn't prioritize felons in those folks. They went after everybody.
I agree. And again, I'm still in support of the idea that, that if you come into the country illegally, there should be a consequence for it.
Okay.
Because, because otherwise there's no point in having a law at all if there's no consequence for breaking it. You know, but I think we can agree with that. You know, that's why, like, I don't now, but here's the thing. The punishment should fit the crime. Like, that's why if you speed like 3 miles above the speed limit, you don't get executed by firing squad. That's not how that works.
Well, hopefully it remains that way. But when I seen what Trump was doing to them Venezuelan drug boats, the punishment is not fitting the crime. I mean, under the Trump administration, deporting Kilmar Abrego Garcia to CCOT and then Africa, that didn't fit the crime. That guy, if that guy was an American citizen and he actually got convicted of the shit Trump was accusing him of, and he ain't even been charged with that stuff. If he actually got convicted of it, though, as an American, he would not have faced anywhere near the level of punishment that Trump was trying to put on him. So yeah, the punishment is not fitting the crime with Trump.
Yeah, I agree. And that's the thing. I want a better president in office that actually will stand up for conservative principles and do what things that they need to do. Now, when it comes to the whole Supreme Court decision, I understand that they're just upholding the law. I'm not a huge fan of birthright citizenship because, like I said, I think it gets taken advantage of by people. Like, you know, they say like, oh, my daughter's a citizen, so you need to give me citizenship now. I think a good way to curb abuse of birthright citizenship is to ban people who came illegally into the country from ever getting citizenship. So that way they can only ever like if they use anchor babies, like if they come in just by themselves, maybe not. But like if they use anchor babies, this way they'll think twice and they'll think, even if my daughter can get in, I won't.
I gotta disagree with you. To me, making it tougher is like saying, well, you know, if we raise the penalty, from 5 years to 10 years, people will think twice. People ain't thinking about the penalty when they do shit like that. When a criminal is desperate, they're not thinking, well, you know, I'll get more time. If you're trying to escape the cartel, or if you're just trying to escape poverty, where you're like, let's say you're living in Cuba and Trump has the country dark every damn day and the people are starving to death. You think increasing the penalty for sneaking to America is going to make them say, no, I'll just stay in Cuba? No, so you can increase the penalty all you want. These are desperate people. So you're not going to deter them with that.
Well, Tim, first off, if it's just economics, that's the reason. That's not a good enough reason for me to be okay with them coming. I still think that in fact, I would say that they should stay there and then they should overthrow their government.
It ain't the government, Jeremy. Sometimes it's us.
It is.
What's going on?
Cuba, it's absolutely the government.
The government ain't putting them in the dark. The government is not preventing them from trading, and that's America doing that. What we're telling them to do is you need to overthrow your government and put in somebody that's going to kiss ass to us. If you don't do that, we're going to make sure you live like shit. That's not their government. That's us doing that.
Tim, unless things have changed recently when Trump was in office, for most of the history, we don't have a full trade blockade. We have an embargo, and it's not even a full embargo.
Whatever. It's because of America. Look, Russia would do business with them. China would do. They would, if it wasn't for America interfering with them trading and exporting and importing on the world market, they would be doing better. They're not doing well because America is making them impoverished. We're punishing them. We are
That's not true.
You trying to tell me the embargo's not hurting them at all?
It's doing very, very little.
Very little.
In the bucket.
So,
yes. You want to know what's actually hurting them?
What's hurting them?
Socialism.
Okay. I'm
sorry. It doesn't work as an economic system. It just never has.
Remove the embargo and then show me socialism won't work. I guarantee if you remove that embargo, the people of Cuba, even with socialism, would be doing, even with the Castros, would be doing significantly better. I don't think you're making it sound like that embargo's barely hurting them. No, that's what's fucking them up, is that embargo.
Trust me, Tim, like socialism has been tried in so many places.
I'm not promoting socialism. What I'm saying, though, is the way the Cubans are living is not strictly socialism. It's us putting our hand on them, telling them they cannot survive. China's a communist socialist country. They're living better than them. They're not living that bad like that.
Tim, they were a shanty town for most of their existence, and it was only when they liberalized that they became much more wealthy.
Okay, then maybe Cuba would liberalize a little bit if we got our thumb off of them.
Yeah, but that means going more towards capitalism and not communism.
Well,
Not only that, Tim, and this is the last point. I do want to hear what you have to say, but I do want to say this. I mean, a lot of China hides a lot of its poverty and a lot of its poor infrastructure.
So does America.
Ghost cities.
So does America. We do too. That's what happens. We do that too.
We highlight it.
No, we don't.
We highlight it. We have. There's how many documentaries do you think there are about homeless people in America?
That ain't what's on the tour guide, Jeremy. You can find all kinds of documentaries about poverty in China as well. That's not what's on the tour guide.
Well, China will shut you down if you try to do that. China will actually punish you and try to make you afraid to like film anything when it comes to poverty. They don't want you knowing about their ghost cities. That don't
mean the documentaries have not gotten out. We've known about child labor and all that shit in China for decades. So regardless of how they're trying to keep it quiet, it's getting out. Jeremy, I do got to move it on, but the information's getting out. That's all I'm saying. I think if America took its thumb off of some of these countries, you would probably have a lower immigration problem coming here, because a lot of those countries coming here, we're fucking with their homeland. Thank you. Appreciate it. Tap the screen. Appreciate it. Thank you. Tap the screen. Get the likes on up to 55,000 if you will in the comments. And by the way, share the live if you will, because TikTok is letting me know that the live has not been shared. I don't normally solicit that, but I'll do it. And I'll certainly ask you folks to help your boy out with the hat and mustache TikTok cap goals. I haven't said that, and I can see by the numbers. So help your boy out. In the comments, America is Republican because you got to be in everybody's business to be Republican. Well, there's plenty of liberals in your business too. I don't think it's all Republican. I mean, there's liberals that are trying to tell people what they can and can't do. It's just that maybe if you're liberal, you agree with that. And the Republicans, if you're Republican, you agree with what they're. Both sides are in your business to some degree. I mean, keep in mind, the liberals don't want you to be able to own certain firearms, for instance. You know, they often say, if you don't like firearms, don't get one. I mean, so both sides are kind of trying to tell you what to do. But I do believe the right is more likely to do it to a greater degree because of the religious aspect. Religion is really controlling on how you should live your life. Marty Mart, appreciate the hat and mustache. Thank you for the support, and thank you for sharing the live alter ego. If you don't want Israel to attack, you should stop attacking Israel, says the handsome conservative. Even if you get attacked, there is a limit to how you can respond. You don't carpet bomb somebody. Israel has went above and beyond. Israel has went above and beyond so much that they are losing the support of the free world. Other than America, most of the first world countries, most of our allies do not agree with what Israel's doing. And then you probably got about 50% of this country that don't support it. They don't get any support from mostly from the Democrats, and even some Republicans are no longer supporting. So you can only claim self-defense for so long. Gaza is no threat to Israel right now. They are no threat to Israel right now. They barely able to survive. They're living in tents. All of their structures have been blown up. They barely even have, the essentials like water. They're no threat. There's no reason Israel should still be killing people in Gaza. And they are. They're still doing it. So, no, you bringing up October 6th or 7th that happened 3 years ago, at this point, it's lost its relevance in my eyes. It's no point even arguing with these people, says Tamar. Tap the screen, get us up to 55,000. We'll take the next caller. In the comments, where are those stories about white anchor babies, says Nardy Boy? It's a great question. I haven't heard any stories about white anchor babies. You gotta assume they actually happen. I've heard a few stories about Chinese anchor babies, Chinese tourism and things like that. And I haven't heard any stories about white anchor babies. You just don't hear it. In the comments, Donaldson7185 says, this guy doesn't know that Cuba has a better healthcare system than the U.S. Damn, is that true? Really? I would have to know the parameters of it. I mean, obviously, if we're trying to avoid giving anybody universal health care altogether, that's not good. But if you can purchase health care, I would think it would be better in America. It's just that it's not good for people who have no insurance at all when you got a country that's trying to give its people some form of universal health care. So I'd have to hear the parameters of that. You do realize Deep State Don is a puppet to the Blue Star country. A lot of folks say that, particularly on the right, far right and far left. The traditional Republicans are still somewhat pro-Israel, and you do also have some traditional Democrats, like Fetterman, for instance. Fetterman is a big, I don't know if Fetterman is even considered a Democrat anymore, senator from Pennsylvania, but Senator Fetterman is real hardcore pro-Israel. You start running into the anti-Israel crowd when you go to the far right and the far left. The far right and the far left are not fans of Israel at all. But the folks that are closer to the center of both aisles, they're more still Israel. And probably, I'm just give you my personal belief. Maybe I'm wrong. You can let me know. I believe it's probably because a lot of them are getting paid. A lot of the politicians that are closer to the center, traditional Republicans, traditional Democrats, AIPAC, they're getting paid. It's the far right people that are not getting paid. The far left folks are not getting paid. Them the ones that are not as pro-Israel. I saw the best economic indicator we have got for the current state of the economy. A fireworks stand already selling at buy one, get one free. That usually happens after the 4th. Well, they certainly aren't selling fireworks good in that area. Wow. Yikes. In the comments, I'm growing up now, Joe. What is that? Boo-hoo, Democrats cry on Orange Man bad. Kevin, I think Orange Man likes being bad. Don't blame. If Orange Man is posting pictures of himself as the Pope, dumping shit on protesters, and even posing as Jesus, I think Orange Man wants to be bad. I don't think Orange Man is trying to play. Who the hell could go out there and portray themselves as Jesus and say, I'm trying to be a good guy? I mean, I think he kind of wants to be a bad man. Tap the screen, get the likes up. We'll go back to the box. Lindsey Graham is far right and he supports Israel. I don't know if you think Lindsey Graham is far right? I think Lindsey Graham is an opportunist. I think if Mitt Romney, because Mitt Romney's gone, but I think if a Mitt Romney-like politician became the leader of the Democrat Party, Lindsey Graham would be a lot softer. Lindsey Graham is just following what will get him where he wants to go. Because Lindsey Graham was anti-Trump before Trump became our president. I think Lindsey Graham is just riding the coattails. I don't think Lindsey Graham is far right. Remember Trump gave out his, when him and Trump was attacking each other, Trump gave out his phone number and shit like that. Lindsey Graham was getting all these hate messages, had to get a whole nother phone and shit like that. And he made the video of him on a golf course with a golf club, hitting his phone to indicate he had got rid of. He was saying all kinds of negative shit. He's one of the ones that said Trump is Hitler-like. Now look where he's at. Just like J.D. Vance. These are opportunists. They're not standing on principle. They're standing on whatever's advantageous. Per capita, Cuba produces the most doctors in the world, says Nardy Boy. Google it. 9.5 for every 1,000 inhabitants. Did not know that. Then you got a point if that's the case. Wow, really? 9.5 doctors for every 1,000 people. Wow. Should be a lot of Cuban immigrants in this country from that program. Let me go back to the box. And think of it this way. I'll go to the next caller, but what I was going to say is when I was going back and forth with my last caller about Cuba being where it's at because of its government, just think about how much money that country would be making if they could actually have folks come there at free will for medical care. Those doctors would be producing a ton of money for that country. So that's a good example of why I'm saying Cuba is hurting because of what we're doing to it. Going back to the box, we'll make it happen with Mike, the boss. Good evening, Mike. J.D. Vance called Donald Trump. Yeah, J.D. Vance and Lindsey Lindsey Graham. Ted Cruz has some pretty negative shit to say about Trump as well. Now they all riding his coattails like he's the best president we've ever had. So yeah, they're opportunists. Mike didn't come up, so I'll continue on with the program. We'll go to Gangsta Grandma. I know she's going to be kind to me today. This is a no fluffy zone.
What the fuck? Oh my God.
I ain't done
You had that
shit.
white-
I ain't
You
done
had that
shit.
white man. You had that white man's cock all down your damn throat, goggling your balls. Man, what the fuck?
What are you talking
You
about?
have some pride in your black ass?
What the hell are you talking
got
about?
Nothing?
What?
Don't tell me shit.
I'm trying to figure out
Negro.
what the hell are you talking
a
about?
True.
What are you talking
You
about?
are a true fucking sellout. On God. Get that cock out your mouth.
What have I done today to indicate I'm a sellout?
Oh no, we gotta drop Jeremy. I can't stand that man, Jeremy. But he's sent a galaxy. Oh no, I gotta drop him.
That's what we
the
hating
white
on.
man. The white man's he's so pressed. He can't debate. Oh, he can't. Oh my God, white tears. Oh my God.
Okay, look. That's all you got.
I can't stand you. You allowed a white man to tell you what you can't do on your platform. You allowed him to disrespect you. You allowed him everything.
So what are
And
you
then
doing? What the if I allowed a white man to do, what the fuck are you doing right now?
I can do it because you're doing what the fuck I'm disrespecting you for. You're a fool.
You disrespect me.
I would be nice to your ugly ass if you wouldn't do what you do. But you give me the ammo to do it. And we spend money. That's $10 a galaxy. We spend money and you don't do it. That isn't cool at all. You stick to your damn word. And if you don't like it, drop his damn ass.
You wouldn't
What does
be.
he think to you?
You being nice to me. You wouldn't be nice to me if I was the last man on earth and I had 11-inch cock. What the hell are you talking about? You ain't nice to me.
I'm not nice to you because
No.
you're a white man.
Oh my God! What?
You're a white man's
What?
You like it drooling down your throat, tickling your fucking tonsils. That's what you like.
You got something ringing in the back. What is that? You got something ringing in your background?
No, I don't. That's not me. Oh yeah, I'm driving. My bad. I'm driving.
What the hell's wrong with your car?
Nothing. It's my seatbelt, but I have a broken back. I can't put my seatbelt on. Because if I put my seatbelt on, you know how it straps you in? Oh, hell no. I can't do all that.
Okay.
I cannot.
All right.
Fuck is that?
Birthright
And
citizenship.
you know what? I had my seatbelt on, and I still got a broken back. What the fuck?
Well, maybe the car. Maybe your body was like, she talks so much shit. Let me snap a few bones. on her.
No. But that's fucked up what you did. You don't disrespect people's money like that, though. For real, you don't. That's disrespecting people's money.
Okay, wait. Let them. It's their money. Let them have a conversation.
No,
It ain't your issue. Birthright citizenship. Let's get into the actual topic of the show. You're speaking on behalf.
It's not my issue.
It ain't your issue.
Okay, let me break this shit down to you. SA, you fucking wannabe twit. Let me break this shit down to you. I'm one of your biggest supporters, okay? The only reason why I haven't subscribed to you again, because they took my damn, my debit card got boo-booed in the mail. So my card is coming in the mail. So I will subscribe to you again. But I'm one of your biggest supporters like that. So what the fuck are you talking about?
All right, well, let's get into the actual topic. We'll leave it at that. Birthright.
Oh, yeah, you don't want to.
No.
You're a coward. You don't want it. You're running. You're running like a
Thank you for the violin. Somebody sent the violin. I appreciate it. Let me ask you. Let's get into the topic. Birthright citizenship. How do you take this? Is that a win?
It's going to be a win no matter what. It's in our Constitution.
What do you mean a win?
It's in our Constitution. But who's going to win anyways? You can't flip the Constitution unless you have two-thirds of the people of the United States. No one's going to flip that.
Well, according to Trump, he's going to ask Congress to try to do it anyway. So
He can't. You have to have Congress and 2/3 of the fucking people. And ain't no one's going to do it. So good luck on that one, buddy.
I agree with you, but I have to ask this question. If he does violate the law, who's going to enforce it?
You know what, Tim? You are just.
I'm
I tell you, does it tickle your tonsils though yet? Does a white man with his little Vienna sausage tickle your tonsils? I just want to know that for real.
I have
You know
never.
what I mean?
I'm going to tell you something, gangster. Before talking to you, I have never heard somebody talk about dick so much in my life. Like,
You know what? I'm a fucking woman. I should talk about Winky. Unlike you're a man. You shouldn't be talking about Winky, but you sure do got it more than I do.
I mean, like, what else do you do in regard? I mean, like, is that what encompasses your life?
I
Is
disrespect you, don't I? You don't like it like that, do you?
no, I don't.
You don't, do you? Then stop being a white man and be the color of your skin, and let's do it. And let's show these motherfuckers and start slamming their asses down. Because of what that white man said today about birthright citizenship and what he thinks that the undocumented immigrants get social services, they don't. They can't. They don't have an SSA card. They don't. So what is your point, though, dog?
Wait. Are you saying that in terms of getting social services like welfare and health, you're saying 0 illegal immigrants get social services?
You only ones that get social services is if the kids were born in the United States. Other than that, they cannot get social services. And they pay taxes because they put it into our system. They put more into our system than if you. So every time we ship them out, we lose money.
Okay,
What are you talking about?
I'm going to admit I'm ignorant on this, but in the comments,
Yeah, you're very ignorant.
but goddamn it, at least I'm willing to admit this shit. In the comments, Risky says they do. I know some of them. So somebody disagreeing with you.
They don't, and they're lying. They don't. They don't get food stamps. That's federal. They don't get it like that. They don't because they don't have an SSA card. Like, what the fuck? The kids, if they are born in the United States from undocumented, yes, they could get it.
What
the
about
kid, and not them?
In the comments, Arletha says counterfeit cards. What about that?
They don't get no damn counterfeit. Yeah, oh my fucking God. These how stupid these motherfuckers are. That's why he likes the uneducated. That's why they have a database. They run you. That's why. They run you. You nut-nuts. I swear to God, you motherfuckers are the most dumbest, uneducated motherfuckers I ever did. I swear this education system failed you motherfuckers. On God, they failed you. And you know what, Tim?
Yes,
you
ma'am.
know what? And those are fucking your friends. Those are your fucking friends.
What are you talking
the ones
about?
that you be sucking cocks from. They are your friends, Tim.
What are you getting
Like,
at?
damn, fuck.
Wait. What are
Like,
you trying to
fuck,
say?
fuck,
What are you
fuck.
trying to say? What are you trying to say?
Your fucking MAGA friends are uneducated. The fucking bobbleheads. They're the ones that will fuck their cousin and think that they the poppy. You feel what I'm saying?
Okay, well, first,
Buddy, yeah.
Robert Kennedy says she is such a liar. Let me make something clear to you.
Okay, I'm such a liar.
That's
Google
what
it, bitch.
that's what the viewer says. First of all, all MAGA are not dumb as you're trying to make them sound. Like plenty of them are.
Yes, they are dumb.
No, they're not.
Yes, they're dumb.
All of MAGA is
Yes.
dumb. You believe all of MAGA is dumb.
Yes.
That
Because
makes
you know what?
that makes
know
you
what
sound
the
dumb.
fuck?
That makes you sound dumb
You
to
know
say
what,
that.
Tim?
All of MAGA is
Shut
dumb.
the fuck up. You know who's the dumbest? It's you. When you run a fucking platform, you don't even know if an undocumented gets fucking tanning for shit. You know what's fucking dumb? Is that you like suck a cock and you allow them to come and disrespect you on your own damn platform. You know what's fucking dumb? You allow them to control your fucking money. That's what's fucking dumb, Tim. That's what's fucking dumb, Tim. And what? You a black man, you let the white man
What
control you.
is
That's
my
what's fucking
skin
dumb,
color?
Tim.
What the hell does my skin color got to do with any of this shit?
Oh my!
You're trying to make race out of something.
You're supposed to be a strong black man. Know your fucking history.
Why can't I
Tim.
just be a
You're
strong
supposed to
man?
know this fucking shit.
Why can't I just be a strong man? Why I gotta be a strong black man?
You know what you're strong of there, Tim? A saltine motherfucker. That is fucking damn so burnt out. You a burnt ass saltine, Chris. That's what the fuck you is. With a lot of fluff in it.
Is there
That's what the fuck
anything,
you is.
gangster? Is there anything in life you don't see race in?
Nope, because this is all about race. What the fuck you talking about? United States was built on fucking race. What the fuck are you talking about?
So what? You get
It was
on.
all built on race.
You sound like
the
somebody.
white man made racism.
So you call for an Uber and you complain that the driver ain't black, I mean, you just see race in
I
everything.
don't fuck with Uber. I have my own car. I'm good on Uber because you know why? I don't trust. No, I'm good. No.
And I see your comments.
I do DoorDash.
And I see your comments. Stick says it sounds. Tim, it sounds like I'm not black. I'm OJ. I don't know what you're talking about, Stick, but I guess I think
You're a bird cast saltine for real, Tim. Like, do you ever kick back in your underwear or your box, what the fuck you wear, and just like think, man, why do I let the white man disrespect me? You know what I mean? Like, what? You allowed that white man today to disrespect you, Tim?
I think
you really fucking did.
I believe
you allowed him to do that shit.
I believe you have said 100 times more disrespectful shit than the guy I talked to you're talking about.
I don't give a fuck. I'm not white. And I do it because of you. Tim, if you got some fucking balls like you should have balls, I got bigger balls than you, and my dicks are hanging up in my closet bigger than your shit is. If I have them bigger than you feel what I'm saying? That tells you something, Tim. That tells you something. I go square the fuck off on them. I square up with them. I don't back down. I throw facts in their face, Tim. I throw it in their face. I don't let them bombard me.
You got dicks hanging up.
Nice.
You said I got dicks hanging in my closet. What are you, Juanita Dahmer?
I do.
Dicks hanging in your closet?
I sure do. You know why? Because I got retired from them, man. So I had to hang him up for a while.
But it does make sense now why you talk about dick so much. Every time you open the closet, you're looking at a dick, huh?
Because I'm a mistress. I peg white teen men for a living. You know that? They my bitch. I make $2,000 in fucking 15 minutes. That's
okay. Unfortunately, I may have to drop you. You got a real bad signal.
No, I'm here. Do you hear me now?
Yeah, but you go ahead.
Oh, I gotta go, Tim. I'll let you go, okay?
All right, fair enough. Moving on with the program. Dick's hanging in her closet. Shout out to Juanita Dahmer. Tap the screen. It says hanging in their front yard in the morning. It says B3. Oh, yikes. Tap the screen. Help your boy out with the head mustache. TikTok cap goes. I'm in the trenches today, as you can see. That wasn't easy, but when we operate on a free speech platform, some of the callers are not going to be easy. You guys know how the program is ran. We don't block, ban, or censor. We are MAGA friendly. Been that way since day one. Always shall be. Comments go left of Mom Donnie till I'm having dinner with Q. You can be critical of anybody on the program, including yours truly. So that's how we do it here. It's all about free speech. So tap the screen and get the likes on up to 70,000, if you will. We'll take the next caller and we'll go with the comments and help people out. The hat, mustache, TikTok cap goes. People bragging about how successful they are to unknown people in YouTube comments is hilarious. That does happen in here sometimes. I guess if you're black, you would be impressed, says Tobias. Impressed about what? Great job, Joe. You're a big boy. You made it. Anyway, tap the screen. And looking in the comments real quick before we move on to the next caller. We'll take the next caller at 70,000. Okay, this lady is just trolling you. Let this crazy lady go, says Chris Magger. No, she ain't trolling. That's her. She's a frequent caller, a big supporter of the program. That is Gangsta Grandma. That is who she is. Somebody said can't hear you. Let me know if you guys are getting audio. Can you guys hear the program? Somebody on TikTok. Everybody else can hear me. But on TikTok, let me know if you're having, yeah, okay. Shanti says I can hear. Okay, so the audio is fine. In the comments here before we move on, tap the screen, get us up to 70,000. DeSantis in Florida MAGAs and Alligator Alcatraz. That was $1 billion gift to Trump, courtesy of the Florida taxpayer. Federal government has not reimbursed the people of Florida. That is why it is closed. I didn't know that, Tammy, but it absolutely makes sense. That's crazy. So they paid, the citizens of Florida paid for Alligator Alcatraz. Wow. That's crazy. I mean, well, I guess they got a chance to laugh at a few immigrants, put in some deplorable conditions for a few months because they did close it. So I believe that, though. I actually do believe that it's paid for by the Florida taxpayers because I heard somebody else say that too. Have these people have these people aren't worth a penny, worth a pygmy mule. I don't know what you're trying to say there. Tap the screen. Are we at 70,000? We'll take the next caller. Hello from England. Ross Werby, good evening to you. Shout out to your England, huh? 14A was a mistake. That's the 14th Amendment. We the Rebel says 14A was a mistake, top to bottom, allowed clowns like this lady to be a U.S. citizen. I don't think she was born else. I don't think she's I don't think that's how she got here, we the Rebel. You're saying that she was born to an illegal immigrant and got to enjoy the privilege of birthright citizenship. I don't believe that's accurate with Gangsta Grandma. But tap the screen in the comments. Now, the Supreme Court is legislating from the bench, just like the lower federal courts. We're talking, speaking of, that's what we're talking about, is birthright citizenship. There's two issues I have. Well, the other Supreme Court ruling is the preventing biological males from playing in women's sports. We're not going to cover that likely as much here because I don't think I'm going to have many guests on the left or the right that's going to disagree with that. There are liberals that do believe a man can transition into a woman and should be allowed to play female sports. I don't think any of those type of people are viewers of my show, though. And I do have allies of the LGBTQ community. I consider myself somewhat of an ally, but I'm not going to go with the crazy stuff like that. I think that's crazy. So we're probably not going to cover that ruling much because I don't think anybody disagrees with it. The only issue I have with the LGBT or the transgender ruling from the Supreme Court is it shouldn't have got that far. It shouldn't be getting the kind of attention it's getting. It's just not that many biological males transitioning to a girl and then trying to play in girl sports. It's one of those, well, one is too many type deals because it's not affecting anybody. All of the time and effort and legalities wasted on that is exactly that, in my opinion. It's just wasted shit. But it's been dealt with. And the other one is the birthright citizenship, which I am more concerned with because I think that we were on the path of chaos had that got passed. Because you were going to have people who had no idea where they were being deported to being rounded up. There's a lot of folks in this country that were born to parents that were not here legally, and they're adults now. You may find yourself going and grabbing somebody that's 30 or 40 years old and deporting them to a country that they don't even speak the language. That's cruel to me. Some of that shit is cruel. Thank you, Risky, for the support. We'll go straight to the box. Tap the screen, if you will. We'll go to Chris Roll 7, I think that says, or 207. Good evening. Welcome to the program. It wasn't retroactive. Yet is a problem, I believe. I don't know. It wasn't retroactive, but if you say that birthright citizenship is outlawed, I don't feel confident that the Trump administration might not try to make it retroactive. My opinion. We tried to bring up a guest. I don't know what happened. We'll try with another guest. We'll go to Stick the Ruler. I got Marty Marr. Good evening, Marty Marr. Welcome to the program.
Hey, Tim.
Hey. So how do you feel about this birthright citizenship? Did the Supreme Court do the right thing or did they get it wrong?
No, yeah, they got it right. And like just the way Straight Talk was talking is just I can't believe that guy. Like the stuff he's saying, I feel like it's just all a gimmick.
Really?
He's driving me nuts, you know, because I've watched you on his show and stuff like that, and for him to say that he's well off and all this stuff, it just don't make any sense. I mean, the guy, you can tell he comes to you to get help, and like he was like, "You need to come to my show to help me." And come on, man, we know you're not doing what you're doing. Like prove it to us, show us something, because what I'm seeing, you don't have any of that stuff you're talking about. So. I do believe
he is right about his political views. So he is a don't ask me for shit conservative. What they call it, self-reliant person. Where I got mine, you need to find a way to get yours. If you fall flat on your face, you gonna stay down there until you either figure out a way to get up or you die. I mean, he is one of those type. Don't ask me for shit, and that's like extreme conservative philosophy, in my opinion.
But those same people, because I grew up around, a lot of conservative people who they do everything for their kids, so if they got money, everything that they say goes out the window when it comes to somebody that they know. Like they'll pay for their car when they get older, they'll take care of their kids, they'll do all this stuff. But yet, you got to look outside of just your immediate family,
and that's what it is. I've heard somebody say this, and I hate to bring race into this argument, but I've heard some folks say that in this country, before minorities had access to entitlement programs and stuff like that, the country was more willing to do for its fellow man and its neighbors. Once people of color started getting access to those programs, people started saying, I don't want my money going to them. And all of a sudden, stuff like college tuition and welfare and stuff became harder to get. I don't know if it's true, but I've heard that said many times, that once you gave civil rights to people of color and they had access to the same programs, all of a sudden people did not want those programs funded.
Well, you can see that in the idea of the private schools. I mean, that's exactly what it is. It's like, we're going to make something that protects our kids. We're going to do these things that keep our kids away from everybody else. And it's just over and over again, people always talking about, well, the churches should be helping these people. The government shouldn't do it. The churches aren't doing it.
No, they're not doing it.
And
the churches are going to do exactly what I just said. If you got poor Muslim kids in the area, a Christian church ain't going to be reaching out to them.
Yeah. So I lived in Utah for 6 years, and the Mormon church, even though it's super powerful, they actually, they had food banks, you could go to the local ward and they would pay for your rent. They do all this different stuff, but you had to go to church. It wasn't like they just did it. You had to be a member, you had to be in good standings. I mean, they had little kids come around collecting the tithes every first Sunday or something like that. Crazy. And even if you weren't part of the Mormon church, they said, well, you would still want to donate? No, I don't want to donate.
but that's how it would be. If they still, the churches still are kind of doing it the same way, where we're only giving money to our community. That we'll look out for other Christians and other members of our church, but if you're not one of them, they're not going to be a fan of helping you.
Correct. Yeah, that's exactly it. So for him to just all the stuff, I was just kicking my seat, just hearing all the stuff he's saying, because it doesn't make any sense. All the stuff he's saying, he's stepping over himself to say the stuff that he's saying, because he's a
true believer. He's a true believer, though, Marty. I mean, I've talked to him number of times. I don't think he's trolling. I think he truly believes what he's saying.
But I remember you asking, it wasn't this time, but you've asked him stuff before, and you give him good answers. You'd ask him, well, what about this? Well, explain it to me. Yeah, well, this is what it is. And it didn't make any sense. It went against everything that he said before. And it's just the fact that these conservatives just can twist themselves in pretzels, and as soon as something comes out, they just justify it. Even did you see the fair where
nobody was there?
The fair was.
Yeah, nobody was there. And you got Jesse Waters on television and Greg Gutfeld on Fox trying to make it sound like it was packed. Yeah, I've seen that shit.
It's just come on, man. You guys can't, if this was, 40, 50 years ago, okay, you could lie to us and tell us stuff. But there's people that can tell you what's actually going on, and they don't care. Trump doesn't care that you can check what he's saying. I'm going to just continue to lie until, whatever. Now he's...
I think he stated, if I'm correct, it was in his writing, The Art of the Deal. I think he stated that if you keep saying something over and over again, people will believe you. That's why if you notice when you watch Trump rallies, and I'm not saying everything he says is a lie, but there's plenty of stuff Trump says that comes with no evidence of proof. If you watch his rallies, and I've been to a couple of them, he says the same thing over and over again. Every time he talks, he's talking about the election was stolen, he says this, and people do believe in it. That was his motto. If you say it enough, people believe it.
Have you watched his movie, the movie about him?
No.
With Cohen. Not Cohen, whoever his lawyer was, his dad's
Michael
lawyer.
Cohen. There's a movie.
Yeah, there's a movie, and showed kind of how he started off. At the beginning, started off with him having trouble with the apartment situation where the rents, and he meets him, and the guy, yeah, that's exactly what he taught him. You know, you just lie and you never admit to anything, and you do whatever it takes to make people doubt themselves, and you just stick to it.
He's a smart man.
Yeah,
He's a smart man. It's worked well for him in business and now in politics. It's worked well. And that's why I disagree with anybody who says Trump is not smart. You don't get to his level by being dumb. I mean, I don't agree with what he's doing. I don't think what he's doing is morally honest, but it is working. And maybe in some people's eyes, that's all that matters. He is getting where he wants to go.
Yeah, it's sad. I am really nervous about what's going to happen as we get closer to November and stuff like that, because I don't know how he's going to do it, but I just feel like there's going to be some crazy stuff that happens. And
if they get that, and that's what, and I agree with you, because the Save America Act is kind of also what I'm talking about today in regards to they're still holding up the House, trying to, Trump is holding up legislation and stuff, trying to get the Save America Act passed. Do you think he's going to eventually get that passed? Because fact is, Trump generally gets what he wants. Do you think the Save America Act will be passed before the midterms?
well, there should there's stipulations now. Like you said, he could just ignore them, but there should be I don't know what it's called, but there's a time frame where you can't pass something too close to an election that you can't fully put into effect. And there's no way you're going to be able to have all the structures put into effect, people that can verify birth certificates and stuff like that. I've worked elections before. The people that work elections are just regular people that aren't going to be able to do all this stuff. So how are we going to actually verify this stuff? And there's not enough time. I mean, with less than 6 months, I don't know how they're going to be able to, even if it does pass, which I don't think it will.
But that's the goal, Marty. Is not the goal is not to make sure there's enough people to verify and stuff like that. Chaos is the goal. So if there is chaos, that leaves them room to solve the chaos, which means they can get rid of voters and people they don't like and let folks, they want to be in control of it. So if it's chaos, that gives them an excuse to step up and do what they want to do. They want the chaos.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, I guess I just hate that we've got to this point where up is down and left is right.
Sound like the beginning of a Contra game, huh?
Oh no, Mortal Kombat.
No, up, down, left, right, A, B, start. No, but I agree with you, because I mentioned this at the beginning of the live, that the midterms are only 4 months and a few days away. And if the Save America Act was passed right now, today as we speak, it's still right now at this point, there is not enough time to get everybody who needs passports and IDs and all that shit printed and mailed out. Because some people are going to procrastinate. Okay, I need a passport. They say it takes 6 weeks. Fuck it, I'll go ahead and apply for it in April, maybe around Labor Day. It's going to be so many people applying for all these documents. There's no way there's going to be some people that are going to say, well, my shit got lost in the mail. I didn't receive it in time for election day, or this happened. Everybody's not going to get all those documents.
Yeah. And even for stuff there's a couple things, because I live in Kansas, there's a couple things that, we want to make sure get passed. And if that happens now, I just wonder about that, even where the primaries are going to be a problem. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's a good point too. The primaries, yeah. I mean, but like I said, it's pretty obvious the goal is chaos. The goal is to reduce the voter turnout and be able to control who gets through. This has nothing to do with preventing illegals from voting or any of that other bullshit they're talking about. It's exactly that. We want to be able to control the election and have a lot more say-so in whose vote is allowed to get through. And that's where we're going with this. And I think the Republicans know it, but because they'll be on the winning side of it, they're not saying, but I think everybody in Congress, right and left, realizes that this is an attempt to interfere with the midterms, because all the political analysts expect the right to lose in the midterms. They all do. And it ain't because it's just Trump. It's traditional. The incumbent normally loses.
So, I don't know. So do you think that? I think what you're fearful of, what you're concerned with,
is valid. Yes, I do believe that Trump is going to do what he's always done, and that is suggesting that there was fraud in the midterms. It's going to be 100% Democrat candidates that won by fraud, and they're going to be trying not to certify them. Yes, what you are concerned with, I absolutely believe what is going to happen.
Yeah, and but the guy said, whoever the guy, he just got kicked out of office or lost his seat. It only happens when you're in charge. Isn't that a problem?
Yeah.
It only happens when you're in charge. When
it only happens when things. It only happens when things don't go your way. If the election goes your way, you won fair and square. If it doesn't, they cheated. That's the way they view it, and that absolutely what happened now. Is going to be widespread Democrat fraud because Trump has never met a Republican that cheats in an election. It's 100% Democrats,
which is crazy work, but yeah,
that's your president. But yeah, I absolutely believe what you're concerned with. You have a legitimate reason to be concerned. Keep in mind, there are plenty of Democrats. I think maybe even Hakeem Jeffries or one of them have said that they likely will impeach him if they win in the midterms. So Trump is fighting for his life. He's fighting for his legacy. He's fighting for the office because the Democrats, if they win the House and Senate, they're going to try to kick him out of the presidency. And then there's also the possibility of criminality. So he's fighting for his life. He's not going to let this election go down as normal if it doesn't go his way.
So if we do win, if the Democrats get back in office, the first thing we need to do is
bring cots. That's my answer. If the Democrats win, bring cots to the House floor. You guys are sleeping in this motherfucker. You got so much stuff to do. Bring cots and some blankets. You need to pass laws to prevent any future president from taking all the loopholes and doing all the stuff that Trump has been able to do and get away with. In addition to, you do need to find out where a lot of our tax money has went. You need to figure out a way to end the war that may still be. Bring cots, bring pillows, bring blankets. You ain't going nowhere. That's what I would say.
Yeah, we're not taking early recesses.
Right.
You're not leaving. We're not dismissing people. No, you guys are working. That little 174 that you're complaining about, you're gonna make every penny of it because we need to get this figured out.
Yeah, former Speaker of the House Johnson, which is what he would be at the time, he's giving you guys enough vacations to last for a lifetime. No more vacations until you get some real shit done. And yeah, bring cots, bring pillows, bring blankets. You're going to be here for a while, and bring some Snicker bars. You're not going anywhere for a while, but we'll see if that happens. Hopefully, because there's a lot of things they need to do. The Congress, the congressional body, has pretty much been inept since Trump has been. It's just been executive orders. He's done it all by himself.
Yeah. I hope something happens to Mike Johnson. He needs to be held up on some type of contempt or something. Whatever he can get, he needs to get it because he has been derelict in his duty, and we need to hold him accountable because he has just been horrible.
I don't think you can really do anything to him. I think what you do, which is why I said bring cots, pillows, and blankets, you pass rules to prevent future speakers of the House from doing what he did. Just close those loopholes that they use, because our system by the founding fathers, a lot of it was built on the honor system. I do believe, and it ain't just Trump. I just think Trump took it to a whole new level. But I think a lot of things are being done, particularly during the Trump administration, that the founding fathers just never expected a president to do. So they didn't pass any law. You didn't expect a felon or a guy to get in there and interfere with this or do that. And they just never expected it.
But did that because there were kings that did stuff like that. So you had kings that acted like that. So, I guess they just,
I'll say what Kamala Harris said. And that is, she said she didn't expect a capitulation. You didn't expect people to just bend over and let this guy start wars and do all this stuff on his own. So you're going to have to pass laws to prevent Congress from just looking the other way. You got to do your fucking job. You got to pass rules that forces them. Even if you don't do, you got to force, when it's time to vote on something, maybe the public needs to know how each person voted and which way they voted. You can't, or stop them from voting just present. Stop people from going on vacations as a measure of a weapon. You know, Johnson is using vacations as a weapon to stop stuff from passing. You got to come up with ways of stopping that.
Yeah, and then we need to add some Supreme Court justices too. That's another thing we need to do. We need to bump that number up.
Ooh.
If that's the same number from when we were what, a couple million? Like, I mean, we need more than 9.
I don't, you know, and you're talking about packing the Supreme Court. I'm
not packing it, but just having, 15, 16 people where you get a little bit more. But
here's the problem. You're going to go from 9 justices to, as you say, 15, 16 people. And what, the Democrat in office gets to appoint all 6 additional ones? I mean...
No, you just have different ways. I mean, so like in Kansas, what happens is you, if someone steps down or there's anything that happens, there's a group of judges. You can take federal judges. They nominate several people, and then the president or whoever picks between those people that have been nominated.
I mean, like I said, I'm torn on it because I know if you expand or you pack the court, that opens the door for Republicans to do the same thing in the future.
I don't want it to be packed. I want decent people because, like Obama
you want
said,
more than 9?
You need to be able to fight.
Do you want more than 9?
To fight things out. Yeah.
Then you want to pack the court. That's more than what we normally have. Unless you say we're gonna put 6 more additional judges, and the Republicans get to pick 3, and we get to pick 3. Then you're not. I guess then I would say
I'm good with that. Just but if you have good judges, because how many judges that were nominated by Trump, Reagan, are holding the law? They're holding the line. So if you have federal judges picking these people, I think it'd be a lot better than just random people being able to.
Well, but yeah, if you
say, I want to nominate this person.
Yeah, but if you have federal judges picking them, you still got Trump picking the federal judges. So I'm still going to put people in that are going to pick justices like I might like. There's still a way around that. I don't know. I just, to me, the only thing I would probably correct is I don't like the fact that Mitch McConnell blocked Obama from having a legitimate Supreme Court pick. So that should be corrected. Yeah. That was, and once again, this is what I'm talking about when I say the founding fathers never expected them to do things based on it. I don't think they ever expected the Senate to just deliberately block somebody from a legitimate Supreme Court pick. That just went against the rules. That shouldn't be allowed. So they got to pass a rule to stop something like that from happening again.
Like my mother used to say, dirty, dirty, dirty.
Yeah. Because think of it this way. If the Democrats win the House and Senate, let's say the Democrats win the House and Senate. So that means that they're going to be in control of the House and Senate for the rest of Trump's term. If Clarence Thomas or Alito passes away or gets sick or decides to step down, that means the Democrats in control of the Senate could do the same thing to Trump that Mitch McConnell did to Obama. Could prevent him from replacing Clarence Thomas or Alito. Just say, well, it's too close to the election, so we're not gonna hold the pick. That shouldn't be allowed. That should never have been allowed when Mitch McConnell did it.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and I don't want to be the person who says, well, they did it, we can do it. I don't ever want to be that person. So, yeah, I mean, I get it. That's why I would say just, add some people. It just seems like 9 is a small number to make all these decisions for the whole country. So
you could have 1 Supreme Court justice per state.
Yeah, that seems crazy. Yeah,
that's where the issue becomes. I got to move it on, but I'm kind of with you on that. I mean, 9 is a small amount. And I just, to me, what happened to Obama is just, look, the Supreme Court is completely unbalanced right now. And we know one of those dudes don't supposed to be there. One of those dudes is actually there by, an immoral or wrong act. It should be 5-4, not 6-3, because one of those dudes should have been liberal, because Obama should have had, Merrick Garland? That guy should be on the court.
Yep.
So
you're right.
So I'm okay with correcting it. I got to move it on, though, Marty. Appreciate you coming through.
Thanks. See you too.
Thank you. Good talk. Tap the screen and get us on up to 85,000. So I don't, like I said, I'm torn on packing the court. I don't want the Democrats to, like my last caller said, I don't want to be they did it, so let's do it too. But unfortunately, they did it, it's still going to be affecting us for God knows how long. So you may have to do something to correct it. It's kind of like the whole argument about, bringing up race again, the whole argument about reparations and shit like that. Modern day people, I didn't own no slaves, or you ain't a slave. Well, yeah, but what happened has an effect on today. So if the Democrats win the House and Senate, and they don't want to they did this stuff, we don't want to, imitate bad behavior with more bad behavior. No, well, that bad behavior is still affecting us today. That 6-3 majority is going to be affecting us for God knows how long, assuming Trump gets to replace Clarence Thomas and Alito. My guess is if the Democrats win the House and Senate and Trump is not able to interfere and prevent the Democrats from taking over, and I'm not sure the Democrats are going to win the Senate. I'm pretty certain they're going to win the House. But what I'm saying is, my guess is if the Democrats end up winning both houses, Alito and Clarence Thomas, maybe even both of them, are probably going to retire, because they know what ends up happening is that it's possible a Democrat may replace Trump, and then that leaves room open for 2 Democrat Supreme Court justices. Or what will end up, like I said, retire, because if the Democrats win the midterms in November, those Republicans are still in power until January. That's when the actual changing of the guard takes place. That's when Alito and Clarence Thomas could step down and give Trump a chance to replace them with younger conservatives in that remaining 2 months of this year. Otherwise, they may have a good chance of being replaced by liberals, assuming a liberal wins in 2028. Because if we win the midterms, if the Democrats win the midterms, and Alito and Clarence Thomas are still Supreme Court justices come January, then the Democrats are in control. So Trump may not be certain to be able to replace them, because the Democrats may pull a Mitch McConnell, which is asking a lot of these 2 men to stay in office for another 2 years. I think both of them are in their late 70s. I think they're like 77 or 78 years old, Alito and Clarence Thomas. They're not young. They're not young. Is that a fair system? No, Billy White. None of this shit is fair. Certainly when you got people willing to push the envelope and use loopholes like Trump has done. And that just made it a lot less fairer when he started doing that stuff. Tap the screen, get us up to 85,000. I'll go back to the box. That wait tab needs to be changed. I agree with you, Arnita. The election is in early November and the changing of the guard is in January. You're saying that wait tab needs to be changed. That was created because back in the day when the president won in November, he had to travel the country by horseback, horse and carriage. And he would meet people in different towns along the way and shit like that. So they gave it a 2-month span before the actual inauguration. That obviously now you can get on a jet and be there tonight. There is no reason for that 2-month gap anymore. Perhaps that may be another thing they need to change. Certainly if Trump loses in the midterms and he does a lot of wild shit in the 2 months, that may be something the Democrats, if they win the House and Senate, need to work on. Get rid of that 2 months. Looking in the comments, we'll continue on with the program. We'll go to Stick Rula. Good evening, Stick. Welcome to the program.
Hey, what's going on, Tim?
Not much at all. What do I always say? Hanging around like Al Sharpton at a Klan meeting. So, birthright citizenship. They've been able to maintain it. Do you think the Supreme Court got it right?
Yeah, they got it right. That was just something that he again. This is what I want you to know and everybody to know. Trump does things, and I believe people tell him, "Sir, this ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna happen." And he says, "Well, I can at least say I tried." He's one of them type of guys.
Yeah.
And guess what they're gonna do? Well, at least he tried. That's MAGA. They're gonna fall for the goddamn participation award.
Participation trophy.
He's gonna accept it. Yeah. He's gonna accept it.
You make good sense, because every time I bring up, when we're having these debates about Biden and Trump, and I bring up all of Trump's campaign promises that he failed on, like ending the war in 24 hours and stuff like that. You are correct. That's the first thing it says. Well, he did try. I mean, because I often counter with exactly what you said. So what, he gets a participation trophy? He didn't succeed. He says he's going to lower your grocery prices on day one and all that stuff. Well, he did try. He didn't succeed. So it doesn't matter that he tried. So, and real quick in the comments, Me Too says if Democrats win, Jim Jeffries and Schumer are just going to say we need to move on from Trump and come together. They won't hold Trump accountable. What do you think about that? Because I actually think that might be valid. He's saying that the Democrats win in the House and Senate. Speaker of the House Jeffries and Chuck Schumer are going to just say we need to just move on from Trump and come together. They won't go after Trump for anything. Do you think that's the right thing to do for unity's sake?
Yes and no. But the thing of it is, I would say more than trying to go after Trump, it wouldn't be about Trump at all. It would be more about fuck him. We're gonna actually erase his ass from history. We're gonna undo every fucking executive order he's ever done in one foul swoop. All of them shits canceled.
Well, but you know how Trump is going to word it. Anything you do, Trump is going to say they're targeting me specifically.
I could give a damn how. The whole thing of it is how you get Trump is you remove them names. You make sure that $250 bill don't never get come to fruition. You make sure that you just wipe all his shit out.
So you're trying to make him go. You're trying to make him go silently, like Richard Nixon. Just remove him from the history book, so to speak, or weaken the legacy that he's trying to build.
Number one, my focus is really on the country. It's not on Trump. But by removing the shit from his name from certain things that he predominantly wants his name every fucking where. Just take all that shit off and then remove every fucking EO he ever did. We good. We back getting how we supposed to get. They can do some other things with the Supreme Court in the sense of maybe it's not a lifetime fucking whatever. Maybe they need report cards.
Every executive order Trump has did isn't bad. I don't know if you want to remove all of them.
Man, get rid of every fucking thing you can. Remove his name like the king did. I mean, the Pharaoh did for fucking Moses. Strip his name off of every goddamn thing.
You're gonna piss off some MAGA stick. You're gonna piss off a lot of good MAGA doing that.
Listen, at this point, y'all work for me. Who gives a damn? Shut the fuck up. Fuck your feelings. What's the other shit? If you're not happy here, you can leave. If you're not happy in the U.S. and you're complaining all the time, you can leave.
I'll help you pack. I'll help you pack.
Don't come back. That's okay too. But if you're not happy here, you can leave.
That's a lot of really good MAGA-isms because everything you're saying is what the Trump side of the aisle often says. All of that's MAGA-isms.
This is what's going to happen. The House is going to get took back. 9 times out of 10, the Senate's going to get took back. Once all of that gets taken back, then that means the new laws are going to come in the next asshole that gets up there ain't going to be able to do it.
You think the Democrats are going to get the Senate?
Once they do get the Senate and the House back, right? Those Republicans, the actual Republicans, they're going to come out. They're going to vote with the Democrats. I'm not a MAGA. I'm not, in a sense, even a conservative. I'm just a Republican in name. Like they call them rhinos. Mm-hmm. The real Republicans that are called the rhinos, they finna revert back and say, look, I want my fucking country back too. I'm tired of this.
I don't know if they can. I don't know if the traditional. I don't know if they can.
Watch what I tell you. You're gonna be more McCain's, more Cheney's. There's gonna be more people just like that to come out of the woodwork because now it's gonna be more of the people that can actually do something now, that are willing to push back on the president, that are willing to do those laws that they come up with. They're gonna be like, yeah, that's a good idea because guess what? Now what we did to you, you can't do to us because there's laws in place now. So yes, they're gonna fucking do it. They're gonna get on that side because guess what? I don't want to get fucked up. I want to be part of making the law that you can't fuck us up. Yeah. I want to be part of that.
I mean, I don't. The reason why I'm saying it. And by the way, folks, help your boy out with the hat, mustache, TikTok, cap, goals. I got to solicit that. I don't know if I totally agree because I think what Trump has done to the traditional Republican Party has pretty much it just literally trashed it. I mean, I think the MAGA Party is here to stay. I think that the Republican Party is going to be pursuing MAGA-like candidates, at least for the next few elections. I don't think traditional Republicans stand a chance.
Nobody in the Republican Party is like Donald Trump. Like you just said, like you just told the other one, he's not really a Republican. He's not really whatever. He's not a conservative. He's this, he does this, he's done that, None of this lines up with their beliefs. So he's not really was a Christian. He just became a newborn Catholic. Like, it's just a whole bunch of stuff that's going on with Donald Trump that ain't, none of the things line up. None of it.
How does he get that? You raise a good point, because I'm listening to Trump today. And one of his clips, he's calling Democrats godless and saying Democrats don't believe in God. Like, you're not known to be religious your own damn self. In fact, he's actually on video saying that I've never asked God for forgiveness and all kinds of shit. And what I'm asking you is, how does he get to the level where MAGA just buys into that stuff? Because MAGA do believe that Trump has a close tie to God and the deity. I was in line at a rally and somebody even told me, how do you get that kind of power?
Because you the devil himself. God has already told listen, God has already told the real Christians, don't put nobody before me. So if they know that, then they know that they're not supposed to be allowing him to do the shit that he's doing when it comes to deities and predicting himself as
you don't call Trump the devil himself, though.
No, that's listen, the greatest trick that he ever did, the devil himself, was to make man think he don't exist. Trump exists. He's affecting us right now, all negatively. He's never been a Christian. He's never been pro-life. His ass let our military go way across the world to unalive people and little girls. Ain't nothing Christian about him. Ain't nothing God-like about him. That's all the devil.
I'm going to admit I'm not religious enough to engage in the conversation, but from what I do know, when I used to be in the churches and shit when I was younger, no, the stuff he's doing doesn't come across as Christian. Like, I'll agree with that. It does not come across, because he's not I want to look out for my fellow man. I mean, we see what's going on with the immigrants.
Not just him. I want you to understand, not just him. You got Ted Cruz. How dare you talk about my wife and da-da-da-da-da. Then he whisper in his ear, then he come out, hey, well, me and President Trump, we had a good long talk, and he's a good guy, and he's a good man, and da-da-da. What? Yeah. He just, hold on, what? Okay, then we have, the J.D. Vance. Oh, he's a little Adolf, you feel me? Like now he's the right-hand man. He whispered in his ear. That's what the devil do. They whisper in your ear. They tell you what you want to hear. They make you feel something, or they hold you to something and say, look, let me hold it for a little bit, your soul, and I got you.
Didn't he just do something like that? Was it Thomas Massie? Which Republican that went against him on the War Powers Act, the guy who was in a shouting match with him, and then all of a sudden he whispered in his ear, which is what you're talking about, and that guy caved in. I mean, he was part of the Democrats. He had joined the Democrats on going against Trump with the War Powers Act, and him and Trump got into a shouting match in a closed door session. It made big news, but apparently the next day or so, Trump talked to him, and boom, as Rick Ross would say, sat them all down, and now they understand. So I don't know what power that man got, but that man is good. Trump is really good at what he does.
Okay, so right now, I don't know if you ever seen it. It's a series out. It's called The Boys. It's got a guy in there. His name is Homelander. That's who Trump is. Trump is Homelander without the powers. but his powers is our military, our police, ICE, anything that's militant that with firearms, it's Trump's right now. So that's his power. That's why he's Homelander right now. But if you go watch that show and you see who Homelander is, you'll be like, God damn, that is Trump, ain't it? So I'm just being honest with you. He's out there. He's shitting and farting in front of people, smelling up the place. You know, you got the prime ministers and everybody making noises. I mean, making funny faces, and they can smell the shit.
You really believe that man is incontinent? You really believe he shits on himself?
Man, yeah. If you wearing diapers, that's what you wearing the diapers for, because you shit.
I haven't seen any evidence that Trump wears diapers.
You ain't never seen MAGA walking around with a shirt that say "Real men wear diapers"?
No, I have not. Is that for real?
That's for real. They got MAGA shirts that say "Real men wear diapers." Like this is some real shit. This ain't no joke. You got the other shit where they was putting the big tampon on the ear, right?
Yeah, that I'm aware of. The ear thing I am aware
rump
of.
watches. There's rump watches. Yeah, it's missing the T. It's called a Trump. It's supposed to be Trump watch, but it's called a rump watch. Then you got the gold sneakers. I ain't never seen nobody wear the trees and ones. So
I thought about buying a pair of Trump's sneakers because they may become a collectible, but the motherfuckers like $400-500, weren't they? I mean,
it was spent about the trees and ones.
The J6ers. The J6ers.
The J6ers. No, that's the first one.
I believe in political artifacts. I would, listen, I would buy it. But the problem with Trump, the issue is, for something to be a collector's item, you don't want a lot of them out there. And he's selling so much shit that it's impossible for all that stuff to be a collector's item. He's selling way too much stuff. So once he started selling everything, I'm like, do you want a Bible? Do you want to let a steak get rotten and buy a fucking rotten steak? What else is he selling? Cologne. He was selling cologne. I mean, he's selling too many things.
Shirts,
coins,
hats.
Yeah, coins.
Yeah.
Phones.
Man.
Trump phones. It's too much stuff.
So again, being that he got all of that stuff that he can sell with his name on it, we need to strip him from every government building, from every library. He don't even need a library. He's not gonna give us that jet. He's not gonna give us a piece of that jet to put in the library. He gonna fly around the world on that bit, and 9 times out of 10, because he's a ex-president, they're gonna probably allow his ass to keep all.
Not if they lose, but see, this is where the midterms come in. If Congress becomes Democrat and Senate becomes Democrat, he can't control that. He can't take over a jet by executive order. They'll take that from him.
Well, we'll see. Because again, it's going to his library, so-called library. Yeah. He gonna say, "Oh, I built a library inside of the jet," and when it lands, people can walk through it.
I wonder, but at the same time, also, can Congress control? Because Congress controls the purse strings. They always say, can Congress control how much money the taxpayers put on his library? I mean, so because Obama's library cost $850 million or something like that. Is that guaranteed for Trump, or can Congress lower that shit?
Well, it's like this. How much of that $200 million that he so-called gathered from private donors, how much of that is actually going towards rebuilding the damn Is all of it, or is any of it? Or is just the taxpayers paying all of it now?
And you won't know that stuff, and you won't know it. And that's going to be probably one of the biggest things people are going to want to know is, where did the money go? Once you get a Democratic administration, and you can really audit stuff like how much money did Trump make as president? You're not going to get a real answer to that until you get some Democrats in there. How much money did he spend of ours on the war, on the tribunal arch, or on the reflective pool? You can't necessarily trust the numbers that the leader that's doing it are giving you. But once you get the other side in there, they're going to give you far more accurate numbers, because a lot of the things that Trump is spending money on, he's getting these projects done by people who are allied with him. So there's a lot of room to skim and hide and not tell the truth. Like the reflective pool, that dude is a Trump donor. And if you ever seen that dude, he looked like a circus act. This is the weirdest looking dude ever. Like, how the hell did he get a no bid contract on a fucking pool? That wasn't an emergency. We didn't need that quick.
Listen, so the whole thing of it is when Trump heard pool, he thought he could hire his regular pool guy to do it. That's number one. Number two, you got to know the area, which is DC. It's the water is swampy, so the algae builds up real quick. That's number two. Number three, Trump is dumb.
He is not dumb. He is not dumb. He is not dumb.
Listen, when it comes to business, the proof is in the pudding with all the times that the businesses fail. The smart part that you're talking about, that you want to give him all the rebel for, is that the people that he talks to and are his supporters are dumber than him.
I gotta go.
I'm just being honest. And then I heard straight talk, stupid ass up here. I'm just gonna be honest with you. The thing of it is, and the reason why he don't want to debate nobody, because on his show, nobody can say anything against what the dumb shit that he has to say. The Elysium, I live on fucking Mars type shit that he be saying, like he need to keep that shit to himself. Just real is.
You got me, Stick. I got to move it on. I'll give you a straight W for this conversation. I appreciate you coming on, man.
Sure, sir.
Thank you.
All
Good
right,
fucking talk. Good talk. Tap the screen. Get the likes on up. Stick the ruler, everybody. Get the likes on up to 95. That was a good conversation with Stick. By the way, help your boy out with the hat mustache TikTok cap goals. God damn it, I got to solicit. It's very, very, very few here. Nowhere near that. You don't plaster over fungus. Well, what I was going to say is this. Remember during the Iraq War, Dick Cheney took all of the smoke for and thank you, C. Osby, for the TikTok cap. All of the smoke went to Dick Cheney for the no bid Halliburton contract. Anytime there's no bid contracts, chances are somebody is benefiting from that. And Bryce, thank you for the hat and mustache. Yeah. Anytime a politician is giving out a no bid contract, there's a lot of room to skim off the top and do shifty type shit. But in the case of Dick Cheney, and I do believe Dick Cheney was on some corrupt shit too, Giant Robot, Cat 2, thank you, 2.0. I'll say this. At least we were at war and there was a little bit of urgency to it. A no bid contract for a fucking pool is insane. How does a no bid, and then the guy does a shitty job at it, which means maybe it should have took some other bids. You gave a no bid contract to an incompetent business. So it's a double whammy. There's no excuse for a no bid contract on painting a pool. And then when you do it, the guy who does it does a terrible job at it. So it's got to be done all over again anyway, which if you had took bids, you would have probably got it done cheaper and you would have probably got it done right. So I'm not going to join my last caller's Stick and say that Trump is stupid, but that particular contract he awarded, yeah, it does look very incompetent. And let's just be clear. I'm talking to my beloved MAGA on this one. If Kamala Harris or Biden had got in there and did the exact same thing, gave a no bid contract to somebody who did a shitty job like that and it ended up costing taxpayers about $20 million, damn sure you would be saying something about it as well. It would be a big scandal all over Fox News, OAN, and Newsmax. Let's not pretend like this is just bashing Trump. If any liberal did that on that reflective pool, you guys would be all over that. That looks terrible. To get him a no bid contract and then they perform and do it. Not only that, but the original cost of it skyrocketed. He said in the beginning it was going to be like 1.5 million or something. And now it's almost up to 20. So the original cost was way under, it went way over budget. A no bid contract to a campaign donor that does a shitty job. It just goes from bad to worse. It's not just, that ain't bashing Trump. That is something the right would bash any liberal doing the same thing. It just looks bad. There's no excuse for that. So no one, what can we do besides not fight amongst ourselves? It's truly heartbreaking to try to be a moderate American and bridge the gap between this political ideology propaganda machine. So that's that's a heartfelt statement there, Joe Biden. I'm on your side, bridging the gap and not fighting amongst each other. But there's no way to do it when the leadership is divisive as they are. We are not as a nation going to unite under divisive leadership. And certainly not to this level. I mean, the leadership we have now is incredibly divisive. It's just not going to happen. I mean, even the politicians that speak out against Trump are getting it. Marjorie Taylor Greene, I often use her as an example because she was almost perfectly loyal. She was almost perfectly loyal. And look what Trump did to her. You're not going to unite under somebody doing that kind of stuff. I think Marjorie Taylor Greene voted in favor of Trump's policies like 95, 98% of the time or something like that. And look what he did to her. Liz Cheney is another one. Liz Cheney, former representative from Wyoming, she also voted in favor of Trump's policies like 95% of the time or something like that. You can't unite when a leader is doing that kind of stuff. Any Democrat that sided with Biden or Obama or Harris 90+% of the time, they would be a fucking hero to the Democrat Party. There's no way in hell you would get kicked. We still riding with Fetterman, albeit damn near coming to a conclusion. But Fetterman is like barely 70% of the time. Same thing with Joe Manchin and Christian Sinema. We got Democrats that we still wrote with on the left that were nowhere near 90% of the time. You kicking out 90%ers? Like, wow. So yeah, you're not going to unite under something like that. I don't see any way to unite when the leadership is demanding 100% perfection. There's just no room for movement in something like that. In the comments, keep in mind, Elon Musk gave Trump $350 million to get him elected. And he fell out with Elon Musk shortly after that. Like, goddamn, what can you do? I mean, there is nothing you can do to fall out with me if you give me $350 million. If you make me president, you in like Flint. You're gonna have to damn near do something physically to me in public. You might smack me behind the scenes and I'll be like, if you hadn't gave me that money, I'll whoop your ass. But fuck it, I'm gonna let by go. $350 million, and he had fell out with Elon Musk within a few months. There is nothing you can do that guarantees you're going to stay in Trump's good graces. There's just nothing. So yeah, you're not going to unite under something like that. $350 million, and y'all fell out. This guy's on the way to being a trillionaire, and you still finding this dude as an enemy based on some bullshit. In the comments, the ruling, what does that say? How much more incompetence from this administration should we accept? Well, there's nothing you can do about it. Some of the things he's doing, look, there was incompetence from the Biden administration, like the way he was dealing with the border. Many folks felt that was incompetent. Nothing you can do about it. The president does have a certain amount of powers that even if he's doing something that you think is incompetent, I think the Iran war is certainly a good example of Trump's incompetence. Trump is, how many statements he has to make? We won the war in a few hours. Their nuclear ambitions have been obliterated. Their navy is at the bottom of the ocean. The Strait of Hormuz is open. They've been begging for a ceasefire. How many things he has to say that are not accurate before you finally say, this dude don't know what he's doing? Everything I just mentioned, he said several times. The Strait of Hormuz is open. Their navy's at the bottom of the ocean. They're still striking shit. They're still targeting and hitting shit. And he's talking about the Navy and all of their military capabilities are gone. They're still hitting stuff. They just hit a U.S. base last week. And he's talking about everything is eradicated. Everything has been eliminated. They're begging for a ceasefire while they're openly striking shit. They're not begging for a ceasefire. So the point I'm making is, there's going to be incompetence. There's going to be incompetence. It's obvious Trump is not being truthful about what's going on in Iran. I think even his devoted supporters, my beloved MAGA, I think even MAGA realizes everything he's saying ain't accurate. Let me go back to the box, tap the screen, get us up over the 100,000 hump, if you will. We'll go to MAGA Reacts. Good evening, MAGA. I'm proud to be an American where at least I know I'm free. Trump, Trump, Trump. I like the song. I don't know if it's 100% true. MAGA, good evening.
Hey, what's going on?
Not much at all. Birthright citizenship has been secured. What say you?
I mean, kind of sucks because
Really?
a bunch of people are going to be able to use it to cheat their way into America, but whatever.
Well, not necessarily. There are ways of, I guess you ask them when they come in at the border, are you in the family way? You know, you ask a woman and when she comes in, are you pregnant? And if she says yes, you can turn her around. That won't violate the Supreme Court. You can tell her, well, unfortunately, we cannot approve your visa for the next 9 months. Or if she becomes pregnant while she's
Good luck doing that.
huh?
Good luck doing that.
Out of all the shit he's done, that would be minor compared to some of the things he's done.
Yeah, but it would also be temporary. The second he's gone, the loophole will be back.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole point is to fix these little loopholes. And, you know, it's kind of funny how you also keep bringing up, like, slavery. Because, you know, I see illegal immigrants as, like, modern-day slaves. And this is a good way to get their kids citizenship.
Well, I'm not going to totally disagree with you because illegal immigrants are exploited and underpaid. But the difference is when we talk about slavery from back in the 1800s to what you're talking about now, taking Africans from the country of Africa and bringing them here to make them slaves was a downgrade to their quality of life. Immigrants that you're suggesting are slaves in America, that's an upgrade. They may be getting exploited in America, but they are living better than they were where they came from, and they can eventually fight for freedom, which was unavailable to the slaves. I mean, they can fight to eventually be able to stay here if they get the right administration, and they may end up doing significantly better. So yeah, there's a slavery aspect to it, but compared to the actual slaves, it's a significant upgrade.
I don't know about that.
You don't really?
I want to argue against that in both ways. I think there's illegals that had a better life in their country and they came here and they got fucked over, and vice versa. I'm sure there are Africans that were having a horrible time. They're probably slaves in Africa. And
You think there are Africans? You think there are African slaves that came here during the slave trade in the 1800s, and that was an improvement to their life?
I'm sure there were. I mean, life in Africa is not easy.
You gotta be crazy. You really believe that?
Yeah, because life in Africa isn't easy, and on top of that, there's slaves in Africa. They could have just been slaves in Africa, and now they're better slaves in America.
You've been hanging around Ron. You've been hanging around Ron DeSantis too long. He said some shit like that. You learn to trade and all of that. You really believe that?
Remember how you were saying before, like, why do you celebrate the 4th of July? I mean, if there was no 4th of July, you would be just British citizens or something. I don't know. Like,
no, you don't
July,
know.
like,
You
no
actually believe that they brought slaves over here and it was an upgrade to their lives. When you look at what you couldn't even control your body. You could get raped at random. You actually believe that was an improvement?
You think you could get raped at random in Africa?
Yeah, but you're not escaping that by coming here. I don't see the improvement.
I think if you're coming from a lawless, like, uncivilized place like Africa was at the time to
another lawless, you were leaving a lawless.
I don't know. I can see a definite improvement for some people.
You're leaving a lawless, uncivilized place. Hold on a second. Hold on. Hold on. Love the cruise. Hold on. You're talking about leaving a lawless, uncivilized place. You do realize, MAGA, for slaves, they were coming to a lawless, uncivilized place. If you walked up as a white guy and stabbed a slave, that person couldn't even do so much as call the police for help. You're not even allowed to testify against an African American. What are you talking about? It's not an improvement.
I'm sure it wasn't much better in Africa.
Lot of crews.
Anyway, it's not really a point I care about. It's just anything is possible, and I can definitely imagine people having a better life in America, even as slaves, versus what they could possibly been going through in Africa. Especially if there were slaves in Africa too. You're acting like Africa didn't have any slaves.
Disrespectful little punk. We got drilled over here in slaves, in chains, in shackles. Beyond our will. We didn't want to be over here. It wasn't the fact that there were slaves over in Africa, you little bitch. Well, you don't even know our culture to be commenting on our culture like that.
Slaves?
So what you how did what?
How did they become slaves? You think they were just free men and they were tricked into becoming slaves?
No,
they had to be slaves in Africa.
Were stronger than another tribe, and they took
in America. They had to be slaves in Africa.
Man, this is a new role.
It isn't for you to sit there and say that we're better over here, where we're getting hung every other half hour or so, dragged down the street.
Africa was probably just as bad. I'm not saying either was good.
You said it might have been an upgrade for some of them.
Of course, I'm sure some people were even worse off in Africa. I mean,
you couldn't even have a child in America without a guarantee that they may not take your child and sell it off the day it's born.
But there were a lot of Africans that were freed once they came to America after a while.
What are you talking about?
Slaves that became free in America.
You are out your damn mind.
Africa was a paradise.
Were we free?
Did they teach you about slavery in school?
Paradise? Wasn't Africa colonized and fucking getting fucked over by the British?
Did they teach you about slaves in school, MAGA?
No, they teach us racist ass about this Africa.
Not as much as I should have.
Apparently not. You saying some wild shit, dude.
How was life in Africa? Explain to me life in Africa. Why was life in Africa such a paradise?
Because
anything is better. When you at home, anything is better.
Right.
You're at home. How you gonna be taken away from your mother, your father, your family, brought over here, given a name, given a religion, everything taken from you, working in the fields, getting whipped across your back, and you gonna sit up here and say this is better? The fuck wrong with you,
I don't know how it was in Africa. I can imagine people in Africa being slaves, being miserable, being killed. I mean,
I don't care how miserable, MAGA, I don't care how miserable I am. The last thing I want to do is work for somebody in bondage with no chance of ever being free. If I'm living in the sun,
say it's a possibility that they could have been just as miserable in Africa. It's not really a point I'm trying to argue. It's not something. It's not a hill I'm trying to die on.
There's no way not to. Once you said that crazy shit, there's no way not to down that hill. These motherfuckers are gonna remember you saying this forever, man. That is the worst thing I've ever heard you say.
You don't think somebody's life improved?
No, not one of them.
People that got to live in the house and all that.
No.
Tim, you see why we call him a racist? He is a.
What does race have to do with anything?
You see what he thinks about black people? That coming over here
in shackles and
chains.
You were a white slave in Africa and you brought to America. I think your life would improve.
I just think what you said. I won't go to the racism. I just say it's very ignorant.
Look, I'm not a history expert. Neither are you.
I believe that.
I'm a history expert to figure this out.
Tim, just the shit I was talking about yesterday. Yo, aren't you from Egypt? Isn't that Africa?
Yeah,
were you slaves?
I'm from Northern Africa, and
but you're African. So were you slaves, and that's why your family came over here because you were slaves in Egypt?
I came here because of terrorism. Terrorists threatened my life, and that's why I came to America.
I can see why.
No shit. I was fucking 8 years old. I don't think I pissed off terrorists that bad. No, they don't like successful Christians.
Well, wait. You said I'm 8 years old. You said MAGA. You just said I'm 8 years old. I don't think I pissed off terrorists that bad. That's the point. They were treating 8-year-olds like shit here. Even an 8-year-old, when they brought you here as a slave, they would work you to the bone, maybe even have sex with you as an 8-year-old.
What makes you think that they weren't being worked to the bone in Africa? What makes you think Africa was so much better for these people?
You're from Africa.
I'm from a whole different part of Africa.
That's Africa.
20 Actually, I was there in the 90s. I'm from the 90s, Africa.
MAGA, if Africa had a history of doing that to them, you would know about it. Just like we know about cross amputations and shit in the Congo and Rwanda. If they had a history of doing all of the same shit that whites were doing to them here back then, you would know about it. Because the white people would tell you to defend themselves. That's what they try to do. That's what they try to do today. Well, you know, it was over there too. You know, your people sold you into slavery. They would be telling you about it.
All I have to do is go upstairs and spend like 2 minutes.
It didn't happen. It didn't happen.
Doesn't that
so you're saying Africa has no slavery? Africa was a paradise. All these people were stolen from paradise.
What I'm saying is, ain't nobody came to America as a slave, and that was an improvement to their life. You didn't even know if you were going to survive the voyage. I mean, there's not an improvement in that anywhere.
Okay, I'm not saying their life as a slave was good. I'm just saying the life in Africa would be just as bad.
I can't believe you said this, man. I just can't.
Did Africa have slaves, yes or no?
Yeah, they did.
So you think being a slave in Africa was better than being a slave in America?
Yes, I do.
Absolutely.
Why? Why would being a slave in Africa be any better?
Well, first of all, they hate you because your skin color over here. So that's gonna add on to the bad treatment. It's because they think you're diseased and all kinds of other crazy shit. So I believe that there is a light at the end of the tunnel in many other kids. When you came over here, there is no light at the end of the tunnel. You are going to be a slave until you die. That's it. You're gonna do this until you die.
Tim, this is what I was talking about. He's just
again. I don't know enough to debate you, but let me do some like 5 minutes of research.
You should have done that before making that crazy ass statement.
And when I
was just a random comment.
That's a horrible comment.
I'm sure there's like immigrants today that had a better life in their home country.
Let me give you an example of what your comment kind of sounds like. That would be the akin of somebody who was a fan of Epstein saying, well, because he gave these girls a lot of gifts, they were better off with Epstein. They came from some poor neighborhood. At least he gave them a bunch of gifts and they got to see parts of the world. That's what you sound like. That's what you sound like.
If they were being molested before, I think Epstein's probably the better molester.
He's just going to say the opposite.
Oh, man, you know I'm joking, right?
No, they don't know that. No, they don't know you're joking.
Come on, that's funny. If you're being molested at home, wouldn't you rather be molested by a billionaire? You're laughing, so it's funny.
Oh my God. You are crazy. Let a Cruz chime in.
It's like, what's his name? The comedian that went to Africa.
Would you rather be molested by a billionaire? Oh my God.
I don't know what's wrong with him, Tim.
What do you say?
Sick.
It's very
sick.
sick.
The same joke.
It's
What's
very
his
sick.
name?
He said, "Would you rather be molested by a billionaire?" I ain't never. Oh my God.
What's his name? Had the same exact joke. What the fuck's his name? Fuck, can't think of his name right now.
Lord.
What's the number one black comedian?
The number one black
Dave Chappelle
comedian.
had the same joke. Dave Chappelle had the same joke. He's like, if you're gonna get molested, wouldn't you rather be molested by Michael Jackson than like some nobody? Do you not remember that Dave Chappelle joke?
No, I don't remember.
It's funny, huh?
It's shocking.
Dave Chappelle had the same joke.
It shocks the conscience. That's all I can say.
I know, but
it's sick.
For my defense, Dave Chappelle had the same exact joke with Michael Jackson.
Trump have the same thing in common. They like little girls.
What's up?
I say you and Trump have the same thing in common.
I said Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle. You know who that is?
Tim, I told you yesterday he'll defend child fuckers. I said, yo, if I bring
defending anybody,
just to say the opposite,
a joke that Dave Chappelle said.
Little kids, would you go for it? Would you defend it? What he's doing right now, he's throwing jokes about it. Like, yeah, you know, well, if it's a billionaire, he can play with the asshole. Like, you rock with it.
I did not fucking say that. I said
you did say that. You did just say that.
Man, what are you talking about?
At least with a billionaire, you can sue him and get some money. If you get molested by someone who's broke, you're not gonna get
You
shit out of
just
it.
how far you trying to reach China? How far down do you want to dig with this shit?
No, he's trolling now. He's trolling.
I'm fucking trolling. I'm taking jokes. I'm trying to be funny here.
You're not funny.
You're
It's
joking
not funny,
about
nigga.
you're joking about
It is
slavery.
funny 'cause
No, it's not funny.
But you are
What's
joking
funny
about
when grown-ass men rape little girls. There's nothing funny about that. And
Well,
if you
tell
were
that
the
to Dave
pervert
Chappelle.
that you are, you understand that's not
Tell
funny.
that to Dave Chappelle. Don't fucking be yelling at me. Go tell that to Dave Chappelle.
Just because Dave Chappelle said it don't mean for you to repeat some dumbass shit.
Yeah, you are
Why?
joking. You're joking
It's
about
not
you're
particularly
joking
black
about
joke.
you're joking
Why can't I
about
repeat
you're
that
joking
joke?
about
Why can
slavery
Dave
and
Chappelle say it
pedophilia.
and I can't?
Yeah, you're joking about slavery and pedophilia. So obviously that's not going to be funny to everybody. I mean that's pretty.
Well, no, I didn't make a joke about slavery. I'm sure there was life for a slave in Africa was just as bad as life as a slave
You
in
don't have
America.
no black friends, Tim. Because he
I
wouldn't
have
say
nothing but black friends, so
you
don't
lying
even worry
because
about
they
that.
beat your ass. You lying. You don't have no black friends, man. They
I
will
have
fuck you
so
up,
many.
man.
You have no idea, but
Well, he may not be saying this in front of him because this wouldn't go well, Mac. I'm telling you, telling people that.
I don't know. I've said some shit.
No, you
They're
haven't.
my friends. They know me. You guys either don't know me or just you just want me to be fucking.
And check that
You
shit.
just, I mean, indicating that blacks may have improved their lives by coming here as slaves. That obviously that was not the goal of any slave master to bring him. I mean, everything
I
from
didn't say all that. You're putting words in my mouth. I just
that's
said some
exactly
of them
what you
probably had
said.
it bad in Africa too.
You said
I
it's
didn't say they wanted to move. I didn't say any of that shit. I can't
It's
imagine.
any worse to come over here and be slaves, and it might be in Africa over there, being a slave over there.
Yeah, I'm sure there are people that were treated just as bad in Africa as they were here. There's fucking monsters everywhere.
no.
What makes Africa so special that the slaves
Well,
there
here's
treated
one.
better
I
than
mean,
slaves in America?
Well, first of all, you because you're property in America, even if the guy who is your slave master passes on, you may end up being a
If
slave.
you're a
To,
slave in Africa, you're property in Africa.
I just can't see any chance that
It's
somebody.
the same life, Tim, just a
Bullshit!
different place.
It ain't the same life. You losing your name. You losing your language. You losing your religion. You're losing the family you were around. You're losing a lot more coming to America. You don't even know where the hell you're going. You're going out in space somewhere. That's like being a slave on Mars. You've never been to Mars. You don't know what it's gonna be like when you get over there. It is different. It is not the same.
All right, I'm sure it was different. I'm just said. I'm sure people were being treated like shit in Africa, just like they're treated like shit in America.
I mean,
I didn't say America was better or anything. I'm just saying it could have been their life could have been just as bad in Africa.
I mean, just
same with the illegal immigrants.
Court
Their
had
life
what
could
they
have been
gave
better
birthright.
in their home country. They came here thinking it was going to be better, and they ended up getting screwed.
just the fact that you're chained in the bottom of a fucking boat and you guys are shitting and pissing on top of each other for 9 straight months down there. There ain't nothing in Africa that bad. They got you in the bottom of a boat. I'm sure people are getting seasick and all that. You're down there for most of that voyage, which is months. And you're barely eating whatever they bring down. You're chained up the whole. People died on that voyage. So maybe the guy that you're chained next to is dead. I mean, that's what they ain't nothing they dealing with in Africa worse than that.
Well, let me look it up. I'm Googling it.
You don't need
How
to
was
look
slavery
that
in
up.
Africa?
I mean, just that voyage alone is enough to scar somebody for the rest of their fucking life. And then you gonna work when you get here. And then once you get here, the horrible stuff begin. But you got to deal with that long ass voyage with all of that going on.
Yeah, I might be wrong.
You
Somebody
might
should've
be.
learned
Yeah, you
something
might be.
past that.
Just
No,
you
you're
might just be a little bit wrong. Just a little bit.
I'm not a historian. I'm just saying there's a possibility.
Oh.
That's all I said. There's a possibility.
No, it's a probability you're wrong, not a possibility.
No, there's a possibility of both.
And yes,
Possibility that people had a worse life in Africa than they did here in America, and vice versa.
and yes, Dencal, he did say slaves are better. In the comments, Me Too says, is MAGA Reacts aware
I
he
didn't
is
say better. I said just as bad.
He said, is
Even worse.
MAGA Reacts aware he is a literal immigrant? Says Me Too on YouTube. He says, "Are you aware you are an immigrant yourself?"
Yeah, that's
No,
why
he's
I
not
know. A lot
aware.
of immigrants come here thinking it's
Yo,
gonna be better, but not everybody
still
gets a better life. Some people
Yo,
get
Tim,
a
I
worse
still got
life
that
here.
100. I still got that 100 we could collect to see if he wants out of ice.
I'm not afraid of ice. I'll go to ice all
Right.
day.
The meta glass.
What do you want to say to ice when I get there? What do I have to say to ice?
Make it, you got some bread.
He trying to
For your
get you.
shit back.
He trying to get you deported.
I'll go say hi to ice. I'm not scared. I got citizenship. I'll go say hi
The
to them.
Supreme Court gave you a break. I wish they rescind that.
Listen, I got citizenship.
I wasn't a birthright citizen. I wasn't born here. What the fuck are you talking about?
Let's shoot those dice.
I fucking got my citizenship the hard way. Not really. My
I'm
parents
just gonna
did it, and
say
I got it
this.
with
I'm gonna say this, MAGA. I got citizenship obviously as well. I was born and raised. I don't trust ICE. I don't trust that if I go to them, they gonna follow the rules. Cause you like, I don't mind going to them. No, I don't trust that they gonna do what they legally supposed to do. I don't trust that organization.
I trust them.
Fuck that.
I'll go over there. I'll go take a trip to them and say hi, what's up, everything. I gotta find out their
Start the pot, yo.
offices.
Start the pot.
The real reason I came up here was, you guys keep bitching about the Supreme Court, yet they keep voting against Trump. I mean, if they're so conservative that everything they do is so conservative, why do they keep voting against what Trump wants?
You lost.
Breaks the law a lot.
You lost. Yeah, exactly. You lost me at immunity,
But
MAGA.
even when it has nothing to do with that, they never vote the way we want. The liberals
in the
always vote the
Constitution.
leftist way. The conservative ones, they just fucking go with whatever.
They voted
It's in
to
the
give. They voted
Constitution
to
and
give
they made
him.
him listen to it.
They voted to give him immunity. So to me, from that point on, I don't want to hear that they don't vote with him. They gave him
You're
immunity.
saying that they're his puppets, but they're not because they vote against him all
It's
the time.
clearly in the Constitution, and they actually had to sit down and listen to it just to give him a chance to be like, yo, we listened to you, we really don't want to, and they voted against him. But they wouldn't even listen to it. Why would they even listen to it? It's in the Constitution.
I'm not talking about birthright, just birthright. I'm talking about everything. There was like 6 things in front of them. They only went Trump's way twice. Out of 6 things, they only voted his way twice.
It's because MAGA, he doesn't never have a case. Same thing with the voter fraud. And he went to get all those judges and lost everything.
E. Jean
He
Carroll.
doesn't have a case.
E. Jean Carroll. He didn't have a case on that
but
either.
even shit
He
that has
doesn't
nothing
have
to do
a
with
case.
Trump.
That's why.
These
It isn't
conservative
about
judges
conservative
go
or
against
whatever. He
conservative
doesn't have a
people all the
case.
time.
I'll tell you something, MAGA X, I'll tell you this. The reason the Supreme Court votes against Trump, in my opinion, I believe that if Trump had to do all this shit with his own money, a lot of these cases he wouldn't even take to the Supreme Court because his lawyer would tell him this is like what he's doing with E. Jean Carroll. That is a loser. You defamed the woman, you lost, you're going to have to pay her. You said what you said. You had your day in court. They ruled that you're liable for sexual assault. Leave this to fucking, he's only taking it to the Supreme Court because it's not costing him.
Defamation case. Tim, they didn't take the defamation case. It was just
It's
sexual
a loser,
assault.
MAGA.
They didn't even-
MAGA, it's not going to be
they didn't even
overturned.
look at it. They didn't look at it at all.
It's a
I don't really
loser.
care about that. My only point is they vote against him and against what conservative want all the time.
MAGA, he doesn't have a
Conservatives
case.
want. They vote
He
against what
does
conservative
not
want
have
all the
a
time.
case.
Even though. What's up?
You don't
does
have a
not have a
case.
case.
What he's saying is
Okay,
he don't.
but
A lot of
all I'm saying is it looks like they're fucking playing fair. It doesn't look like they're fucking
MAGA,
just
do you
going with what he
understand? If
wants.
you don't have a case, they're going to rule against you. Do you understand that? It isn't about
But
the
if
rules.
they're
He
puppets,
does not have a
you
case.
call them puppets. You think they're Trump's puppets. If they're puppets, then why are they not going his way even when he doesn't have a case?
Well, that should
There's
tell you
nothing in the
something.
envelope.
It's so bad he doesn't have a case. They can't even make a case out of it.
yeah,
So they have to vote against
yeah.
it.
I gotta move it. I gotta move it on, gentlemen. But I gotta
Even
move
when
it.
it's not Trump. When conservatives want something, they tend to go against what conservatives want all the time.
Yeah,
I've
but
never
you-
seen a liberal.
Yeah,
go
but
against
some
what
of the
liberals
stuff,
want.
like Trump's election fraud claims he made that he had won the 2020 election. Yeah, they got to rule against that because he said so many things with no evidence. You can't just rule like what he tried to get Mike Pence to do. He wanted Mike Pence to do something based on no evidence at all.
Ruled against it. They didn't fucking just take it. They didn't take it up. They said we were.
Yeah, because he's in. Yeah, you want us to take up. You want us to take up a case where you're presenting no evidence.
They can't make a case for you.
Right.
My only point is that they're not his puppets because they rule against him all the fucking time. And they're not even like, they even rule on shit that Trump doesn't even give a fuck about, that conservatives want, and they rule against what the conservatives want all the time. I've never seen a liberal person go against what the liberals want, ever. I've never seen the liberals side against their party, against their side.
You never seen Joe? You got motherfucking Fetterman just voted to prevent. They wanted to.
We're talking about the Supreme Court, Tim, the 7 Supreme Court judges. We're not even. You guys are bringing up the other judges. I'm only talking about the 7 Supreme Courts. So you guys.
When has the Supreme Court? Right? How long has it been since the Supreme Court leaned left?
But I'm talking about the one that they still has 3 of them from the left. They still have 3 leftist judges. Those 3 leftist judges never vote for anything on the right. Yet the ones on the right vote for shit on the left all the time.
They voted for some stuff on the right.
Like what?
I'd have to think of it because I know that Taji Brown Jackson even voted for something that Trump wanted.
Abortion.
I've never seen him vote for anything on the right. Didn't they vote for abortion? I think they voted on abortion on the right. They voted for the left. They voted against it.
No, they did not.
I don't know what the split. Yeah, I don't know
the
what the split
abortion thing. It was 6-0. Is that what you're saying? Or what do you think? Sorry, 6-1.
I think abortion was 5-4 in favor.
Yeah, so the liberals all voted against it. The 5-4 that
in favor of stopping abortion.
I'd have to look it up, but I'm sure that there was a couple cases where it was. I think there was one decision that was like 9-0. I'd have to look it up. But gentlemen, I do got to move it on for time purposes. MAGA, that statement is going to go in infamy every time you come up. You're going to be down there with Duke. You keep saying crazy shit like that.
Yeah. So make sure you mention that part.
All right.
Tim, when you were talking in straight talk, did you hear Marcy and him?
I saw your comment in the comment section. I gotta go.
I saw your face. I know you heard him.
I gotta go. I'm gonna leave that alone, gentlemen.
I can't wait how they're gonna restate this one. I can't wait to see how they're gonna reword my words.
I don't know, but I'm gonna make a short out of it. MAGA Reacts, thank you. Tap the screen. Look, I cannot believe anybody would suggest that bringing somebody over to this country and making them a slave was an improvement to their life. I've heard some wild shit. Like I said, Ron DeSantis said that they were giving slaves, teaching them trades. What good is a trade if the person is not free to go look for a job? I don't know. But Ron DeSantis did say that. Tap the screen. Thank you, love to Cruz for the, better yet, Lisa, thank you for the love and support. Appreciate that. Tap the screen. Hope you boy out with the hat and mustache. TikTok cap goals. Look in the comments. Get us up to 120, if you will. MAGA's an immigrant who only is in America because of leftist politics. Is mad the Supreme Court had a left minority, a majority. Yeah, that's true. That is true because to me, it looks like Trump is just anti-immigrant, period. And I'll give you a spiel of that. Because a lot of people on the right are saying, no, we don't have a problem with immigrants. Just come here legally. But in my opinion, I see Trump as just being completely anti-immigrant. I mean, when you look at the policies he's doing, it just looks like he's
President
totally
Trump
against
posted
immigrants.
on Truth Social that he will, quote, permanently migration from all third world countries. It's unclear specifically which countries Trump is referring to, but comes as the administration also said they will re-examine all green cards issued to individuals from countries they consider to be, quote, of concern. But
now that was a discussion on when Trump said he posted a message, a tweet saying that, what does it say here? Even as we have progressed technologically, immigration policy has eroded those gains in living conditions for many. I will permanently pause migration from all third world countries to allow the United States systems to fully recover. Terminate all of the millions of Biden illegal admissions, including those signed by Sleepy Joe Biden's auto pin. So this was him promising to ban all third world countries. There's no rapists and murderers in this. This is just all third world countries. That's one of the things that Trump has said to make me believe that he is just anti-immigrant. None of this will just come here legally or rapists and murderers. No, he's just anti-immigrant.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on. You have no choice. We have no choice.
Now that's a statement from Trump a few years ago, banning all Muslims. So you got one statement of him banning all third world countries, another statement of him banning all Muslims. Like I said, the guy comes across as
anti-immigrant workers, and this pretty much ensures that that's what's going to happen. I think, Sean, do you agree with that?
Well, they're $100,000 per year. So the whole idea is no more will these big tech companies or other big companies train foreign workers. They have to pay the government $100,000, then they have to pay the employee. So it's just non-economic. If you're going to train somebody, you're going to train one of the recent graduates from one of the great universities across our land, train America.
Now, this is them raising the cost to sponsor an immigrant. You know, let's say, for instance, you're a doctor in India and a hospital here wants to bring you over because you got cardiac skills, or, you're good at ear, nose, and throat or whatever. So the hospital wants to pay you whatever, maybe it might be a little less than they would pay an American doctor, but you'll certainly be a successful immigrant. You're going to get paid a good salary. Well, the Trump administration added on an additional $100K for every immigrant, as you hear him saying here. So now you got to pay the immigrant their salary, and the company that's sponsoring to bring you over, they also got to pay the government $100K. So if there's a hospital in your area that wants to bring over an immigrant to be a doctor or a surgeon or something like that, not only do they got to pay the salary for that person, they now got to pay a fine of $100K to the government for bringing you over. Now they're trying to make it sound like, well, we're doing this so it'll force them to only hire Americans. There's always a way to do this stuff and have a secondary reason to mask what you're doing. But to me, like I said, Trump just comes across as anti-immigrant. None of these stories I'm playing for you involves rapists or murderers. It's just banning immigrants. I don't see anything. It just looks like they're anti-immigrant.
America's doors are closed fully to asylum seekers. We've set up agreements where if you want asylum, then we will find a country elsewhere in the world to take you. It's very simple, a very elegant, a very complete solution. Now, of course, as you know, you've heard me talk about here many times before, all asylum claims across the southwest border are always fake. They always involve somebody who is coming from a country where they're not being persecuted based on race, religion, ethnicity, so on and so forth. Overwhelmingly, right, they're coming from other countries in the Western Hemisphere where there's no persecution based on religion, no persecution based on race, etc.
So you hear him saying, this is Stephen Miller, he said America's doors are fully closed to asylum seekers. So he's making it clear, we're not going to take any. If you're claiming that you're coming from an area where you're in danger or there's some reason, we'll find some other country to send you to. We're not taking you either. So, like I said, this is just anti-immigrant language. I don't
In many cases, of course,
I think it's real hard. I think it's real hard to make the excuse that we're not anti-immigrant. We just want you to come here legally. You're preventing people from coming here legally. I mentioned how they're increasing the cost to sponsor an immigrant. That was a legal way to get here. You hear what he said about asylum seekers. That was a legal way to get here. But Muslims in third world countries could legally migrate here. They're trying to ban and block that. Everything he's doing is just anti-immigrant. So, yeah, I absolutely believe that the Trump administration is just using other excuses to deliver an anti-immigrant administration. You can always come up with something. Find us some rapists and murderers to put on TV. Like right now, they've been doing that all day today, pointing out crimes that immigrants have committed, to use that as an excuse to block the border. When really the goal is just to block the border. It ain't got nothing to do with getting rid of criminals. It's getting rid of everybody and just using that as an excuse.
We could have been here all day with these news stories, but it's only a limited show. So here's a highlight, a low light reel, if you will, of what these Haitians have been up to.
Monio Joseph crossed the center line, hit the bus, and caused it to flip.
Okay, 52 elementary students were on board.
An 11-year-old boy, Aiden Clark, died.
Mr. Joseph shattered our lives.
Prosecutors learned he has a Haitian immigration registration in Florida. The court had to recruit a local healthcare worker to interpret in Creole after learning Joseph could not understand English or Spanish.
Investigators say the man suspected of murdering a mother with a mallet outside a gas station in Fort Myers is in the country illegally.
The suspect came here from Haiti. He had a temporary protected status to stay, but DHS says that status expired in 2024, so he was in the country illegally.
The man charged with going on the violent rampage appeared in front of a judge today.
In chains, Mackenzie Darbouzi stood in the courtroom as the details of the deadly stabbing were revealed. A 4-year-old, 13-year-old, and a 77-year-old. Darbouzi, a Haitian national.
I've been prosecuting 25 years, and this case is as bad as any I've heard about.
Justillion is being charged with murder, rape, strangulation, and felonious assault connected to the homicide of 26-year-old Crislanda Auguste.
Both the victim and defendant are from Haiti.
Alvarez is a migrant from Haiti. He stands accused of raping another migrant, a 15-year-old girl.
26-year-old Jordani Joseph from Haiti is charged with rape and kidnapping.
The man convicted of killing a woman and stuffing her body in a closet. Turns out he was supposed to have been deported before that murder occurred.
He killed my daughter. I'm so upset. I mean, there's no reason for this.
It's tragic knowing that this man was never supposed to be in the country at the first place. He was supposed to be deported back to Haiti. A man in this country illegally with 17 criminal convictions here in Massachusetts is now in custody. Member of a violent Haitian street gang.
I'm not going back to Haiti.
ICE says he's a gang member with 17 criminal convictions in recent years.
Trump, you feel me? No, Biden forever, bro. Thank Obama for everything that he did for me, bro. I'm not going back to Haiti.
You are going back to Haiti, as are your fellow Haitians who have overstayed their welcome. Period.
Now that's Megyn Kelly, formerly of Fox News. I mean, she's the one that had the video the other day saying, go back to fucking Haiti. Now, you see she put together a montage of Haitians committing crimes and things like that in America, which on its face would justify why she feels the way she feels, and it would leave people a reason to say these people need to get out of our country. But I'm going to submit this to you. Considering that we don't know the time periods for these crimes, and the crimes are all over America. Point I'm making is you could make a montage like that of any group of people. Blacks, whites, Asians, Hispanics. You could do, if you got all of time, you could find plenty of whites that have committed crimes like that, blacks that have committed crimes like that. You could do this to anybody. This is not all in it. Now, if it was only in Springfield, Ohio, where a lot of Haitians are, and it was over the last year or two, then yeah, she would have a really good point. But this shit is just all over the place. She just went out and go find me a bunch of crimes that were committed by Haitians. You could do, I mean, I don't know how many Haitians are in this country, but I'm sure it's millions. Okay, so she presented about 20 criminals. Any group of people that has 1 million folks in this country or more, you could find 20 bad criminals amongst them. You can find 20 bad guys. So this, to me, in my opinion, is a really good job at telling you nothing. Because I'm sure it would be just as easy to put together a montage of Haitians doing good shit. Haitians serving in the U.S. military, maybe saving somebody's life or something like that, pulling a fucking cat out the tree, working with the police, maybe serving on the police department. You could do that too, if you just wanted to make a point. But folks will watch this and buy into this, and yeah, they need to go. They're really, really bad people. You can do this to any group of people. This is nothing what she's doing here. This is absolutely nothing. It's just a bunch of bullshit put together to make them look bad. And I'm going to tell you, it probably is going to be successful with MAGA, because the sentiment of the sentiment of being anti-immigrant and not liking them is already there. So she really is preaching to the choir. Looking in the comments, Chris says, you must be slow to listen to that lady. I like to hear politics from all sides of the aisle. So I do listen to the likes of, Ben Shapiro and folks like her and things like that. But then I'll listen to Cuomo and O'Reilly and some of them folks, Stephen A. Smith. Now, I mean, I listen to all of it. So I do like to hear. You don't want to listen to politics only on one side of the aisle. That's what really skews your judgment. Like what Megyn Kelly is doing. If you only listen to that shit, yeah, you're really going to hate some immigrants. Looking in the comments, Evil says, Tim, can you tell me if MAGA reacts as a puppet, or is he a what does that say? A goober baby? What the fuck is that? Let me reach out and get my spectacles on. Can you tell me if MAGA reacts as a puppet, or is he a goober baby? You got to make a mockery of MAGA reacts. His whole headline should be, I'm a goober baby. I don't quite know what a goober baby is, Evil, but I think I kind of get it the way you're talking. I don't know. Listen, MAGA has their own mindset just like the libs do. I think MAGA reacts, there may be a little bit of trolling in that. I don't think he believes all of that. So I'll leave it at that. But I don't know about and he's in the comments asking what the fuck is a goober baby. I don't know what a goober baby. He's basically saying your ass is a goofy. That's kind of what it sounds like. What he said is you a goofy. That's the way I'm interpreting it. And he'll let me know in the comments if I'm getting that right. Speaking of which, in the comment section, we are all brothers with different mothers. I like that, Davis, but that's not what our leadership is telling us. That's not what somebody said that I'm married to a black woman defense. Obama is evil big time, says Davis Rodriguez. Evil big time. And by the way, I'm married. How is Obama evil? What does Obama did to indicate he's evil? I'd be curious to know. I'm not saying he's a perfect president. I'm certainly not saying he's the best president we've ever had, but evil? What did Obama do that's evil? I would certainly like to know that. Obama legally deported more people than Trump. I believe that maybe well, first of all, Obama has served 3 more years in office longer than Trump. Trump has only did 4, 5, what he's done 5, almost 6 years. I mean, yeah, almost 6 years in office. Obama did 8. So Obama should have a higher number, but I think it's not the number of deportations, it's the way people are being deported. When Obama was deporting people, it was turning away people at the border. It was not rounding people up in U.S. cities, sending ICE all in people's neighborhoods and Black Hawk helicopters rappelling down on people's buildings and yanking people out of court. It's the way he did it. It's the way Trump is doing it that's going to get him more attention. You don't need to deport a whole lot of people when you're doing it in that type of a manner. I mean, because Trump is doing it Trump is doing it in a way that he's also hurting Americans. I mean, there are Americans that are getting caught up in these traffic jams and being wrongfully stopped in the profiling stops. Brown people getting yanked all over the country, just yanked off the street and questioned us. Obama wasn't doing that. You didn't feel because you were a brown person walking down the street, ICE may grab you. I'm talking brown people that are U.S. citizens born and raised here. They don't feel comfortable with what Trump is doing. They didn't feel that way under Obama. So just simply pointing out that Obama had higher numbers is not, that's not truly representative of what happened. He wasn't separating children from their families. I believe the mom was allowed to stay with the kid when they were getting deported or something like that, wasn't it? But even still, like I said, Obama was not taking your neighbors away. The people that Obama deported were people that most Americans did not know. Trump is deporting the guy who works at the hot dog stand that serves you lunch every damn day at the work site. People you actually know and got relationships with and things like that. It's way, way different what Trump is doing. He's deporting people that are friends of Americans. That you got folks that are even Trump supporters. Like I really like that dude. I've known that dude for 10 years. That wasn't happening under Obama. So I think we're giving. I think comparing them to doesn't resonate because of that. Let me go back to the box.